All right, boys. So I have finally made the trek to the local cinema, and I've seen Tenet.
Nice.
Um,
Yeah.
You're the
yeah,
first one, I think, right?
Yeah.
I am. I
So how was it?
gave
Was it
up.
worth it?
What made you break down for it to start? Like what kind of
Well,
pushed you over the edge?
we had been trying to schedule like a time to rent a cinema out at Cinemark because they do like a for $150 you can have up to 20 people at one of them. So we were like really close to actually doing it, and then the showing that we were planning on going to last Friday ended up just they got rid of the showing. Like it wasn't like it sold out or anything.
Jesus.
They just got rid of it. So I guess if they don't sell them out by a certain time, they just add a different movie in for normal people. Is my guess. So now we know that for the future.
It's
But
bizarre that they did it so early, though.
yeah,
Usually they wait.
I would have figured you'd wait until the afternoon of the day of.
Uh-huh.
But for a while now, I've been looking at AMC, seeing if there's like showings and like gauging how many people are actually going to them and stuff like that. Not many people go, and I had a $10. The biggest reason why I went is I had a $10 off thing, plus a free large popcorn and a free large soda for my birthday.
Nice.
There you go.
So yeah, that was really why I went. I don't want to waste those. So I risked death, and I saw it in the IMAX, a Limax at Garden State Plaza, and there was only 5 people total probably in the entire theater. Might have been only 4 because I think one left like within 15 minutes.
That's not good. That's not a good sign for the movie.
No, but he also came in late, so so I don't know what exactly that guy's deal was. But
maybe he was just sneaking into like Hocus Pocus or something.
He probably wanted to Hocus Pocus, and he realized
snuck into Tenet.
that this isn't Hocus Pocus. But as for the movie itself, I mean, it was good. It's a Nolan movie. Like a Nolan movie's a Nolan movie at this point. You know what you're kind of get for the most part. I was a little bothered by the fact that after like the prologue, you know how his movies never say like the title, kind of waits till like the very end and like the dum dum, and then like the title shows up at the end of the movie.
Yeah, well, except for like Batman.
He went off the books this time.
Batman didn't.
He had the name of the movie at the very beginning, and then the credits just start with written and directed by Christopher Nolan. I was like, "What are you doing? You're changing things up a little bit."
Was
selling out.
Was the common complaints did you find them to be issues? So like the 2 big things that stood out for me complaint wise was people complaining that the story was so convoluted that you couldn't really follow what was going on. And then the second biggest complaint I heard was that the audio mixing, the music sometimes overtook like key dialogue.
Yeah. I mean, you guys know I have fucking shit hearing. One ear is basically fucking off the rails, but I did not have a problem with hearing. I don't know if it was the fact that it was just an IMAX, but I did not have a problem hearing dialogue. I mean, the music was my favorite part, so I really didn't have a problem with the fact that the music was pretty damn loud. But as far as the convoluted plot, yeah, it was definitely confusing. I would say Inception is like for beginners. And Tenet is maybe like intermediate. I mean, I don't think it's fully like advanced yet, but my whole goal of the movie was understand how they were getting from point A to point B in each scene, and really kind of focusing on that.
Yeah.
Like in retrospect, I'm like, this fucking logic of inversion, time travel, and whatever you want to call it. You are gonna have a fucking field day going through the movie
I'll watch
and
it
trying
like 10 times,
trying to pick apart like how everything happens.
Yeah,
because it's wild. It's crazy. But yeah, I thought the music was the best part. I thought Ludwig Göransson did a great job for subbing in for Hans Zimmer. It sounds similar to something that Hans Zimmer would do, but with his own spin on it. The cast.
What's up with Hans Zimmer?
He was committed to Dune.
Oh, good. I thought you were going to say he was committed to a mental institution.
No, he. I guess he's always loved the book. So when it came down to doing one or the other, he chose to actually do Dune.
Oh, that's so cool.
Which is pretty crazy since he's done so many Nolan movies. So hopefully that means the movie's gonna be awesome. But the cast was great. I thought they did a good job of making a very kind of confusing, out there, big time plot kind of get condensed into like this really intimate story between three people. John David Washington, the protagonist. That's literally his name in the movie, the protagonist. And the villain, played by Kenneth Branagh, who's a fucking dick in the movie. He does a good job as a bad guy. And Elizabeth Debicki, the giant from Guardians of the Galaxy 2, the one in gold. I say giant because she's really goddamn tall. She like towers over everyone in the movie. But the three of them kind of have their little thing with how this whole World War, they say it's like a World War III type event, is going down. Really, those three people are the ones really involved in it. Pattinson's, he's a good guy, gives a good performance, but he doesn't have the meatiest role or anything like that. He's kind of like, if you combine Joseph Gordon-Levitt and Tom Hardy's characters in Inception into one, I would say that's how his character would be described. Michael Caine's in it for one scene. So you're not getting much out of him, just the usual kind of exposition. But yeah, it didn't save cinema. It's not anywhere near Nolan's best movie. But it was one of the better movies I've seen in theaters this year. So it was the best movie I've seen in theaters in the past 7 months.
I was trying to think of what you've seen in theaters, and it was like Bad Boys.
The Way Back, which we'll talk about later today. I think you watched it, Doug.
Yeah, I watched it.
I actually enjoyed that one a lot. And The Invisible Man. Those were probably like the three best I'd seen in like the first quarter of the year.
You saw The Hunt?
Went belly up.
You?
I saw The Hunt, but it wasn't that good.
Do you find any standout performances in this movie, like at all, or everyone was just kind of on the same level playing field?
I'd say the three main characters were about on the same playing field. John David Washington was a charismatic lead. Kenneth Branagh was a slithery villain, and Elizabeth Debicki was a sympathetic kind of woman in distress. But Aaron Taylor Johnson was actually in it, and I didn't even realize until like the very end of the movie, like probably with 20 minutes left, that it was him. He plays a Tenet like soldier. I guess that's what you would call him.
I feel like he's kind of a chameleon.
Yeah,
he's got a
massive beard in this movie.
Okay.
So it kind of really covers up his face, and he talks in his native language.
His native language?
He talks with his native accent. Sorry.
Where's he from?
Britain.
Okay.
So he's very much has a strong British accent in this film.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's something I definitely have to see again, just because there's a lot to pick apart. So I'd say maybe sometime in the next month, we can actually rent out that theater. I know Doug's coming up from Florida for Thanksgiving, so maybe that's something we could even do when he's up here, since we're not getting Bond for Thanksgiving now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't remind me.
See, I'd rather go see Bond in theaters than that.
Same.
I'm not really like, I don't really want to like watch a Christopher Nolan I'm Smarter Than You movie again. I'll watch it at home or something like that, but I'd rather go see Bond or something that's going to make me shovel popcorn into my mouth.
Well, I mean, if you have a free large popcorn, you will shovel a lot of popcorn in your mouth.
It's true. My popcorn consumption goes along with being entertained. I eat more when I'm more entertained.
True. Well, in April, you can have a lot of popcorn.
Oh God,
with No Time to Die.
We're gonna make it through the winter first.
We hope. Yeah, we do hope we get there, or that the movie comes out then. But that is it for Tenet. When you guys see it, we'll definitely talk more about it because I would like to hear your feedback on it. Yeah, and one last thing to note was I didn't realize how comfortable I've gotten just watching movies on my couch versus the whole process of like going to a theater and like not being able to just pause and walk to the bathroom or look at my phone. Because, I mean, if you have a large soda, you're going to have to take a piss. So It was annoying when that third act starts and I'm like, well, I have to go to the bathroom, but I can't now because I can't miss anything now.
That's a sad reality with getting older and older is that I've noticed that, I can't down a large Coke without having to go to the bathroom at some point towards the end of the movie. Mm-hmm. When I was a kid, I'd be able to just, I'd house that, maybe go get another one if I wanted to and have to go to the bathroom at all. But we got a plan for it now.
Getting fucking old is not fun. All right, welcome everyone to Live, Breathe, Film. This is episode 18. You're here with Corey, Doug, JP, and Murph. Thanks as always for joining us. Our main topic for today is our favorite Halloween films. We are right now in the middle of spooky season, so we feel like we should let you guys know what we really like. So hopefully you can take those recommendations and watch them this October. However, before we get to that, let's run through some news and what we watched over this past week. All right, so release dates. If anyone listened to our last episode, we gave a lot of breaking news updates throughout that episode in regards to things that were changing. And basically that whole Black Widow, No Time to Die thing made a major impact on things. So if you heard our last one, the breaking news was the Batman was postponed to March of 2022. And with that, all their superhero movies pushed. A lot of movies coming out this holiday season moved to next holiday season. For Dune, for example, moving all the way to October of next year. But since our last episode, the hits just keep on coming. So here's where we're at now. Soul, it was Disney Pixar's big film coming out on Thanksgiving. No longer happening. But the good news, and this is very good news, if you are a subscriber of Disney Plus, you are getting to watch the film for free on Christmas Day. So they are not going the lame-ass Mulan $30 route. If you got Disney Plus, you've got something under your stocking on Christmas Day to watch with the family. AMC, well, because of the AMC deal, I believe Universal has decided to put their new film, Promising Young Woman, in theaters on Christmas Day. They put out a new trailer for that. It's the one with Carey Mulligan that we saw trailers for as far back as last Christmas. And it was supposed to come out, I believe, in April. But that will now be opening on Christmas Day. Universal really is like one of the only distributors actually putting their films out in theaters. Like, I believe they have maybe like 5 or 6 movies coming out between November and February, but they're all like middle scale, like low budget films. And the reason why I believe they're doing this is because if you listened earlier this year, you would have heard about the deal that they're doing with AMC, where AMC will play their films, but Universal has the option to put them on premium video on demand after 17 days. So I think you're going to be seeing a lot of their movies going in theaters. I think we're getting a Crude sequel. I don't think any of us saw the original, but that's coming out on Thanksgiving. We have the Blumhouse Freaky movie from the Happy Death Day director, which is coming out in November. Promising Young Woman. There's a few other ones coming out the end of this year, early next year. So they're going to, I guess, do their part to keep movie theaters alive. I don't know if they're going to make much money, but they will be playing in theaters. In addition to that, Jurassic World Dominion, which was going to definitely be one of the biggest movies of 2021, has been pushed back all the way a full year to June of 2022. Bummer. A poster came out for that as well. And then lastly, Mank, the new film from David Fincher, is coming out on Netflix on December 4th and will be in limited theaters prior in November.
Which look good.
It looks beautiful.
Yes. I was going to say, which of these things, anything about them stood out to you? Let's start with Mank. And the fact that it does look absolutely beautiful. It looks like a movie film like that came out in like the 30s or 40s.
Yeah, it looks like Lighthouse vibes, like the same sort of aesthetic that they filmed it in. It looks like it's jumping off the screen on like Turner Classic Movies at 4:00 in the morning, something like that. Looks awesome. It looks pretty compelling.
It looks like that, but in like high definition.
Yeah,
which incredible like film. Well, not film,
gives
but
it a nice pop,
like 4K or some shit.
Yeah. I think it looks awesome.
Any shot JP, you're probably the biggest Fincher guy here. Any shot you see it in theaters, or you just wait until Netflix?
I don't know. I guess it really depends where it's playing. If it's playing by us, then I might actually go jump and see that on the big screen, because it would be really cool to see a black and white movie. I don't know if it's all black and white.
I imagine it is.
Yeah, that would be really cool just to see that on a big screen. I would definitely be more drawn to see that than Tenet.
Yeah, and this would, just to give our audiences an idea of how this would work. This one, because it's from Netflix and not Universal, it will not be playing in AMC theaters or really any of the major chains, because they do their limited windows in theaters that the big movie theaters do not like. So it would only be in like independent theaters. So it would be in the iPic theater that you like, JP. It would actually play there because that's a smaller type chain. It's really like the Regals, Cinemarks, AMCs that wouldn't be playing this film.
Yeah, it's a shame they closed the bow tie down the street, because I'm sure that's probably
that's the type of theater it would play at, because the one at Claridge, it would absolutely be there.
Yep.
In Montclair.
Yeah, it's a damn shame. I mean, iPic is great. It's a great way to go see movies, but it's
expensive.
I don't really care about the expense, because we got to sit in a pod with a blanket and a pillow and shit like that, and got free popcorn for the amount of money we paid. It's just getting to Fort Lee and parking and yeah,
it's a pain.
Yeah, that's sometimes not worth the headache. But if that's the only place it's playing, I mean, it's definitely a toss up. I might go, I might not go. But maybe I go farther south if there's a place down there with ample parking.
Yeah,
who knows? But I'm definitely going to keep an eye out and see where it's playing and sort of.
You go to the drive-in.
That would be fucking awesome, honestly, to go see that at a drive-in as well.
I mean, that would be the type of movie people would have seen on like a drive-in theater back in the day.
Hell yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, like I'm not worried about going to the movie theater at all. I mean, it's just I need to have a reason to want to go.
Yeah,
and it needs to be convenient enough that I want to go right now. So,
what's really cool about this movie is that his dad actually wrote the screenplay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I guess
that's very cool.
His dad was in the industry as well, so this is like a huge passion project for David Fincher.
That's awesome. I'm super on board with that.
And then I don't know if you guys saw the Jurassic World, the new poster that came out at the same time that they pushed it back. Nothing crazy. It is basically the logo on some amber, like the first movie. But it includes all the people that are in this film, and it really is like they're really getting like everyone who's been in like these Jurassic Park, Jurassic World movies in them. I think there's maybe 12 names on the poster, like
Wow.
above the title, and they just everyone's in alphabetical order, so we'd have no idea who's actually like the leads of this or anything. I mean, I have to assume Chris Pratt is probably and Bryce Dallas Howard are probably the two focal points still. I'm just hoping that the fucking big three from Jurassic Park have a lot of screen time.
Is Vince Vaughn reprising his role?
I was looking for that. I didn't see it.
Unfortunately, Vince Vaughn, it didn't make the cut.
I was a huge fan of Nick Van Owen. I like that character.
I know, he was cool.
Yeah, I liked him too. I like Lost World more and more as I get older.
It's not a bad movie.
I like it more than a lot of the other ones.
The fact that they're bringing Dodgson back makes me feel like the big three are probably going to have a much bigger role. Even though they're in absolutely no way connected, it just feels like there's a little bit.
It's going back to the beginning.
Nostalgia. Yeah, I like that idea.
Dr. Wu, he's back as well.
Yeah, man.
I mean, they've turned him into a mustache twirling villain.
I forgot about that until right now. That was so fucking stupid.
Did you see this? Did you see Fallen Kingdom yet?
No, I
think he's even worse than that one.
Yeah.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, is he the villain of that movie? Because I remember they built him up at the end of
He's like one of them.
He's one of the villains.
No.
That movie looked awful.
He was such a nice guy in the first movie.
I know.
Mustache.
I mean, if either you die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Yeah, it's true.
So
it'd be cool if like they brought Wayne Knight back and he somehow survived the Dilophosaurus attack.
He's like an android now.
He got the Dilophosaurus fucking money shot at him in the eyes. So
they made babies together, and they're little Wayne Knight Dilophosaurus babies.
Then they had some crazy sex in the car. So
yeah, well, I mean, prove to me that they didn't. The car was rocking. Well, no one came and
they didn't technically show that he was dead, so I guess it's possible.
Sam Jackson,
just like Sam Jackson, where it's like, you just saw my arm.
I got one arm now.
That would be hilarious if he comes back and be like, "You motherfuckers left me on that island. I lost my arm."
And you know they would have to take the other arm in this movie.
That would be hilarious. It'd be like a Crispin Glover thing from Hot Tub Time Machine.
Exactly.
Man, that would be fun.
But yeah, that's as far as the release date news. Obviously, I think we're all pumped for Soul. That's one good reason to stay on Disney Plus for another year.
Yeah, I have a question about that actually. What do you think their reasoning is behind dropping that $30? Did Mulan just not sell well enough that they didn't find it profitable? Why get rid of that $30 thingy?
Yeah.
It's also a new property. Maybe they didn't feel like it was worth the risk.
I don't know.
It's a Pixar movie. I feel like it would sell infinitely better.
I think it would have made more money than Mulan. Maybe. Like I would have bought Soul for $30.
Yeah. Kids would fucking eat that shit up.
I think they are big on these like special event type things, like they did Hamilton for 4th of July. Now they're doing Soul for Christmas. Like, here's your fucking holiday present. And
thank you, Mouse.
They also haven't given us too much content this year because of Corona. I mean, we should have gotten multiple Marvel shows this year. We didn't. So I think maybe this is just something to boost subscribers around the holidays.
Well, I mean, Mando, there's probably people that like canceled their subscription after Mando launched.
I would imagine
coming back for that.
It's going to be a big Q4 for them with Mando, WandaVision, and Soul.
It's pretty interesting because I mean they really didn't need to give this out for free.
No,
I found that very surprising that they'd be doing that.
Yeah, I think Mulan must have disappointed to a degree. Soul will be playing in theaters around the world where Disney Plus isn't offered, so similar to Mulan. It'll be interesting to see how it does in comparison to Mulan around the world, because it is a completely different type of film.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Thank you, Mickey.
Exactly. We love you, Mouse. And then if you had listened to our last episode, obviously the biggest focus of it was the MCU. As always, it's a new week, so there's new MCU news. This is some good news for a change, and it is the fact that Benedict Cumberbatch, aka Doctor Strange, has joined the cast of Spider-Man 3. So, multiverse, guys?
Yeah, it seems like they're going to do, like we said last week, I think their Spider-Verse is probably what they're going to do, or something like it.
It's good news depending on who you ask, because I think it's kind of dumb. I don't really want to see it done in the MCU, to be perfectly honest.
Do you not want to see it done now, or do you not want to see it done like ever?
I don't really want to see it done at all. I think it just muddles up a lot of shit, and I think it's just gonna make it like slightly more confusing in the long run.
You're probably right.
I think I'm good with it, but I don't want it to be in the third episode or the third entry into this Spider-Man series. I think we have a story that was set up perfectly at the end of the second one, Far From Home, and I want to see that play out. So we're all assuming multiverse, which it very well could be, but also Tony Stark was a mentor to Peter Parker in the first two films. And so maybe Doctor Strange is also going to fill in a little bit.
And they live in the same city too.
Yeah, and Nick Fury was somewhat, I guess, he's kind of a dick.
No.
But
just yelled.
They're both.
He was an old. Mysterio was his mentor in the second one.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see like them kind of like going in that direction, but then also including, some new characters. Maybe they'll include Miles Morales. Maybe they'll introduce him, because Sony just wants to continue having their claws in the Spider-Man property. So I could see them, bringing in a new character and then make a movie on that.
I'd rather they just stuck to the animated one and just they have their thing there. Just do that.
Oh yeah, I agree with you. I agree. It's like they're almost grasping at straws. Like they're just trying to not even innovate, just try to just branch out a little bit more so they have more control over the property, because they're never going to give up Spider-Man ever.
Yeah.
And it's going to be like every 7 years re-upping, the license.
Yeah, I mean, they're lucky that Tom Holland is young and likes doing the role. But
yeah,
Tom Holland also is very loyal to the MCU, and I think they realized that last summer. So
yeah.
I don't know. I'm of two minds of it. I kind of agree with Doug in the fact that I want to see it, but I don't want to see it take over this third movie. But damn, it would be fucking cool to see like Tobey Maguire come back.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool
as his corny ass Peter Parker.
I just feel like that's what you do when you're
desperate.
When you're out of ideas. Like it works for DC because they made a ton of mistakes, and
Sony might be out of ideas.
It's a good way to reboot, but now it kind of seems like maybe they're doing it this fast just because DC's gone and said, "Well, we're gonna do the multiverse thing," and now they're like, "Well, if you're gonna do the multiverse thing, fuck you. We're gonna do the multiverse thing better."
Idea.
It just seems a little forced.
So
honestly,
this is coming out. All right, so WandaVision comes out this year. That's the whole. People have been speculating that WandaVision leads into Doctor Strange 2. Spider-Man 3 will be coming out next December. Benedict Cumberbatch will be in this one. We assume that it will be somewhat multiverse involved. And then Doctor Strange 2 comes out in the Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness comes out in May of 2022, I believe. Right around then.
So maybe it's all one arc. Yeah.
Sam Raimi's directing it. Sam Raimi did Spider-Man. Scarlet Witch, Wanda Maximoff is confirmed the supporting role in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Is the whole Spider-Man thing a way to get his old Spider-Man characters into Doctor Strange 2?
Yeah.
like
A way to set up his Spider-Man characters from his Spider-Man trilogy into Doctor Strange 2 without having to have Tom Holland in it, because they're setting up the fact that Doctor Strange already has a relationship with the Spider-Man characters via Spider-Man 3. and now it will have their different versions of them in Doctor Strange 2, directed by the guy who directed Spider-Man movies.
I mean, maybe it's just there's no multiverse stuff in Spider-Man 3. It's just, hi, I know Spider-Man. I've hung out with him a couple times. Wow, you're certainly a strange-looking Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire.
Exactly. I mean, it's
Maybe that was some weak shit right
it's
there.
It's a very long con way of getting it done, or long tail way of getting it done. But I don't know. I could see maybe. It seems like these three films, TV shows are going to be connected more than any of the other ones will involved with their movies and TV shows.
Big arc.
Yeah, exactly. Like its own mini arc in this whole Phase 4.
Now I wonder if that was. I mean, did Sam Raimi want to do this? Do Doctor Strange, or was he approached by Marvel?
I'm not sure how that all happened.
So-
I mean, he wanted to do Spider-Man 4 before this whole before they pivoted to the Amazing Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Maybe it was pitched to him like, you could bring back your characters.
I don't know. Well, we shall see.
Yeah, I guess
Food for thought.
I was complaining the whole time last week about how Phase 4 seems like it's a lump and it's stupid and there's nothing connecting it. So I guess if they're trying to connect this, make its own 3-movie arc, then that's good news, I suppose. Even if it's not really what I want.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe they are trying to have some sort of thread or backbone to connect these seemingly unconnected movies and TV shows.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to get a little connection at the very least.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, let's move on to the what the fuck news of the week, presented by Disney. Last week we talked about The Lion King Part 2, and this week, I don't know if you guys saw, but we're getting a Space Mountain movie. Who's excited for this? They have not learned their lesson from the Country Bear Jamboree and the Haunted Mansion and any other rides.
Throw it Tomorrowland.
Outside of Pirates of the Caribbean.
I want to say one thing. If we get a Small World movie, I'm boycotting Disney.
Well, you don't like diversity, Corey?
I don't like Small World.
It's the most diverse ride ever. Of course, we're getting a Small World ride.
It's horrifying.
Movie.
It should be a horror movie.
It's made for now.
Yeah.
It was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
Small Ride is horrifying.
So
It's only horrifying if you drink the water.
Yeah, that's true.
I think you turn into one of those puppet creatures if you have some.
They did it on The Simpsons. It was fucking horrifying.
Can we? I don't think we can all agree on this, but I'm at least gonna say Space Mountain is a shit ride.
No, you're wrong.
It's a bold
Absolutely
statement.
wrong. It's a great ride.
The track is so rickety.
It's like one of the first roller coasters I ever went on. Therefore, it's a great ride.
Didn't they do like a Space Mountain movie? I mean, they obviously didn't, but I remember it being Space Mountain. The one with George Clooney. What the hell was that? What ride was that?
That was Tomorrowland.
That was
Yeah,
Tomorrowland.
Add that to the list of shitty movies that they made about rides. Murph, didn't your brother lose his wallet on Space Mountain?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he did. Had to go retrieve it. I think we did get it back.
Yeah, I mean, they have a net that they just probably take a rake to and put everything in a bin.
The amount of shit my brother's lost at fucking Disney parks. Like, he lost a fucking Aliens action figure at MGM way back in the day. For some reason, I got in trouble. It got mailed to our house like weeks later.
That's badass, actually.
So amazing. Disney does take care of its customers. But yeah, this movie sounds. I don't really know anything about it yet, but
was there a cast announced yet?
There's no cast. I think there was a writer announced who I'd never heard of.
That's so weird.
But yeah, I had to bring it up just because it's another just odd decision from Disney.
Hey, maybe it's the next Pirates of the Caribbean.
Maybe they just got to have a flamboyant drunk in the main role, played by a Johnny Depp type.
Yeah, I mean, the name is stupid as shit because there are no mountains in space. So,
yeah, I never Wow,
That
I
right
never
off
thought
the
about how
bat.
dumb that is.
Yeah. It's a great movie. It's a great ride, though.
Yeah, I think we can all agree
debatable.
that Doug's wrong here.
Yeah, Doug's definitely wrong.
That's the most
Yep.
rickety ride.
That's the fun.
It's
You're
old as
afraid
shit.
of it
It's old as shit.
collapsing.
It's not pitch dark.
How is it rickety?
You can see like the other tracks, how close they are to your head. It's pretty terrible.
Yeah, it makes
That's
you
what's
think
awesome.
you're
Do you
gonna
not like
makes you think
thrills
you're
in
gonna
your
get
thrill ride?
decapitated.
Yeah, why is that an enjoyable part of the ride?
Because
it's a
you're
rush.
not
It's
gonna
like,
get
oh my god,
hit.
I'm gonna die.
It's a thrill ride.
It's garbage.
Oof.
All
There's
right,
better in the dark
everyone's
roller
entitled
coasters.
to their own opinions, no matter how wrong they are.
Doug is
Yeah.
wrong.
I think I'd rather do the Aerosmith ride.
You're gonna have old ass Steven Tyler taking you
Gotta get to the
across
concert.
Hollywood to the concert.
Yeah.
Are you saying it's a more compelling story than Space
I think he
Mountain?
is.
Are you looking for a plot thread in your?
Oh no, I was
roller
talking about the
coasters?
ride is more enjoyable. I don't know if it would make for a better story.
Back to the Future. had
Who's in the
best plot.
pre-show intro? Isn't Ken Marino in it?
For which one?
Rock and Roller Coaster.
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's Ken Marino.
All right,
Um,
so to get him back, and the guidance counselor in the new guy, she's in it too. So we have to make
The
sure
other people
they have
to
those
sign.
characters return. And
Oh,
then
so
yes,
got nothing
then
else
yes, we
going
can
on?
have our Aerosmith ride.
Aerosmith Ride the movie. Steven Tyler can play the grandmother at this point.
Yeah, this is true.
Well, they could de-age him also, like the Irishman.
Oh damn,
Have him just play everything.
that would be great. I want to see the first movie made with one actor where they just de-age them, re-age them, make them a woman, make them play every single character, like a
Isn't that
nutty
Benjamin-
professor.
I was gonna say,
we
everyone's
kind of got
This
that.
is Eddie Murphy's like dream job.
What about
Yes.
Benjamin Button? They like de-aged
mean-
the fuck out of him, didn't they? In that movie.
They did.
Yeah,
Well, they
took
like
him to
aged the
the
shit out of
States,
it,
didn't they?
All right.
It's an exhausting movie.
What did you guys watch over this past week?
Movies, probably.
I watched Blah Manor.
Corey, tell us why you watched all of Bly Manor instead of The Boys.
Yeah.
Because I was compelled to watch this more than The Boys. That's really what it was.
Compelled not to be a team player.
Hey, I'm in full on spoopy mood. I want all the
Corey-
spooky
Okay,
movies, so
tell me why you didn't watch the spookiest movie on Netflix, Hubie Halloween.
I was
Corey,
I
you
was
want to know
go-
what I wanted to watch this weekend? Bly
I mean,
Manor.
yes.
You want to know what I wound
I
up
was-
watching? Hubie Halloween.
yes, but did you finish Bly Manor?
I didn't get to watch any Bly
No,
Manor.
he had to watch Hubie
Oh,
Halloween.
this
God
is-
damn
there
it!
you
He was
go.
busy
So-
watching Hubie.
But I watched 9 hours of Bly Manor in one day.
Doug,
That doesn't make it any better
Did-
because there's 9 hours of The Boys to watch.
did Hubie Halloween feel like 9
7.
hours to you, Doug?
It does feel like 9 hours. I don't know how they pull it off, but it feels.
Believe me, I want to watch Hubie Halloween, and I will watch it very soon.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say I don't believe you at all.
Okay, tell us
All
about
right.
Bly Manor.
Yeah, we'll get to
Tell
Hubie
Doug-
Halloween and The Boys later.
Tell Doug all
Tell
about what
us
he
about
missed
this.
by watching Hubie Halloween.
Tell us all about Bly Manor.
Well, I don't want to go too into it because you guys didn't watch it yet, but I did like it. But it's very, very different than Hill House. It's not really spooky. I did like how they repurposed a lot of the actors. They, from Hill House and these new roles. It was just a new ghost story, different vibe, very different vibe.
What do you mean by that?
what
Because
do I mean by
I watched
what?
Hill House. I was a fan of it. I thought it kind of wasn't. Thought the later episodes weren't as good, but overall, I thought it was a good show.
So
What's different about it?
Obviously, this is a different group of characters, different story altogether. But the overall tone of it, and the approach with how scary it is I'm trying to I don't want to spoil anything.
Would it be
But
so?
the,
Is it accurate
not-
to say it's less scary?
yes, 100%. It's for me. I mean, I could see how some people might think that it's creepy, but that's literally as far as it goes for me. You might feel differently, but I feel like, especially compared to Hill House, it's nowhere near as scary. As good, I don't think it's as good, but I enjoyed it as much, almost as much. Like it's not bad. It's just very different, which I'm happy he kind of did that because then it wasn't like Mike Flanagan was trying to do the same thing over again. It's very different in a lot of different ways. Characters, pacing. I actually think this season was paced better than the last. Like all the episodes were very strong, whereas with Hill House, like the last couple episodes kind of like weren't as strong.
Yeah.
But
Did
overall I did like it a
they,
lot.
did they do the same format where you follow a character and see like their, I guess, story rather than going chronologically in time?
It's not
character
chronological is all I'm going to say. They do it in a different way, but it's still told from the perspective of each character. So when they're showing you that
Okay.
character's backstory, it's done non-linearly.
Got it. Okay, so it's very similar in that respect to Hill House.
Yeah. I mean, the acting was awesome. There were only two characters that I just ended up not really liking, but there's a reason for it.
Was
Everyone else?
Do we know if was Flanagan as involved in this show as he was?
He didn't
in
write
House?
this season.
Okay.
I think there was someone else who wrote it, but I think he was involved for the most part.
He kind of, it seemed like he blew up more after Hill House.
Yeah. I mean, you'll see, like it's a different vibe, but the story as a whole is very satisfying. It's very well done. It's different, very different from Hill House. So I could see how, like, I mean, I'm sure you guys have seen online, like it's very, divisive. A lot of people really liked it. Some people hated it. And I think, it's because it wasn't what anyone was expecting. But definitely watch it. It's good. I probably give it 4 stars out of 5.
4 spoops out of 5.
4 spoops out of 5. No.
Cool.
All right.
Maybe I'll watch it next week as long as I don't have to watch a Hubie Halloween variation.
Oh, next week's the Adam Sandler episode.
There we
So
go.
you're gonna have to watch all of the
Gotta watch
Netflix
all the Adam
shows.
Sandler movies.
We're talking about Uncut Gems for the entire episode next week.
I'm not watching that again.
And Zohan.
So, what I watched this week was The Way Back, which is on HBO. I thought it was pretty good. It kind of, once it ended, my wife was like, "Oh, it kind of reminded me of this other movie," and I immediately knew it was Manchester by the Sea. And I was like,
Oh God.
I never saw that. Wasn't that movie
Depressing-ass
depressing
movie.
as hell?
it's kind of like sad. It ends kind of like sad. Like it's just kind of like a
Sad
sad
by the
overall
sea.
movie. And in that way, like it felt very similar, but there was no sea. There was basketball instead. I thought Ben Affleck did a great job channeling somebody that has a drinking problem. I don't know how he was able to channel that.
It's because he has a drinking problem in real life.
Yeah.
He's a method actor.
Yeah, he definitely was really good. It was a good performance by him.
Yeah,
For
I mean,
sure.
what I appreciated about it is it didn't follow the format of every other sports movie.
Yeah.
Where I guess it immediately felt a lot like Mighty Ducks, where this guy's got issues. He starts coaching a team, puts this ragtag team together, and they just win. I mean, it was that to an extent, but
Oh, it's very much that.
then
But
it kind
with-
of goes. Then it kind of hits that Manchester by the Sea phase of the movie, where it just kind of veers off in another direction, and I appreciated that, but I went into it being like, oh, this is going to be like a feel good movie, like we're gonna be pumped after this because
That's what I thought too.
And then it ended, and it was like, I feel kind of sad now. So I didn't appreciate that aspect of it. It was a good movie.
I didn't appreciate how it made me sad at the end.
Well, sometimes you go in a movie
How
and
dare
you're
they?
like when I'm looking at movies and I'm like, all right, like I'm in the mood to watch a drama and I know it's going to be sad. I felt like I was a little misled because I was like, I thought I was going to watch like a feel good sports movie and like it wasn't that.
All right, you need
Yeah.
just how Julia needs to
Sports-
know if like an animal's gonna be harmed in a movie. Doug, you need to start letting me know if you're gonna end up being sad in a movie, and I'll just let you know if you will or you won't. So then you can decide accordingly.
I'd like
That
to put
sound-
my
that
name on
sounds
that
good.
list as well because I'm not
Sure.
looking to watch movies that ever feel fucking sad.
The movie
by all
wasn't
means.
even. It wasn't even that much of a sports movie. Like the sports aspect, the basketball aspect was there, but it was really more about him and that character and like his struggles than anything
Yeah,
else. Which
they actually
I was
you're
like-
right. I noticed they minimized a lot of the actual sports playing where it would just
Yeah.
show you the score.
Mhm.
And I was like, I kind of wanted to see how that game went.
You want to know what their record was for the season?
Yeah, it was much more a drama with basketball than like a basketball movie.
So
But it-
you're really you care more about the basketball games. You're saying?
I think I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. It was hard for me to kind of like mentally adjust because I thought I was going into a feel good sports movie.
Gotcha. All right. Well, they got you because
They got me with
it ain't that.
the commercials and the trailers that I saw for that. I was like, all right, like I'm gonna watch Ben Affleck get his life together,
Yeah.
coach this team of misfits, and they're gonna kick ass.
Yeah. I mean, that was probably my favorite movie I saw in the theater this year. I would say, but I also wasn't going into it expecting it to be a happy movie from the trailers. So I think that might have played a part. I
Yeah.
thought Affleck did a great job. I
He
think
did
when-
a really great job.
if Affleck's in the right role, he's a fucking incredible actor.
But it was interesting that he chose to do this role because it almost feels like it's too close to home.
Yeah, he clearly had to reach in and deal with his demons or some shit.
Yeah, so I don't know if it was therapeutic for him or why he wound up doing it, but yeah, he definitely did a great job. I
Yeah.
definitely couldn't fault him. I thought the kids did a great job.
The dude is going out with Ana de Armas now, so he's doing well in life.
Oh shit.
Was she half his age at this point?
Probably.
Yeah, at least half his
Be Ben
age.
Affleck.
All right, JP, what did you watch?
I watched the story of McDonald's
Oh.
again.
How
Wasn't
is
this
it?
with
Tell me all about
Michael
it.
Keaton?
Yeah, I watched The Founder. It's the story of Ray Kroc, who is the evil fucking CEO of McDonald's. It tells the story of him and how he came upon the first McDonald's out in California, and basically just befriended and then fucked over the owners of it. It starts out really nice. I remember the first time I watched this, I watched it in bits and pieces because I'd watch it when I was working out. So I'd watch about 20 minutes here and there while I was on the treadmill. And like the first 40 minutes of the movie, I felt really good because it's got all this wonder, and you see this guy who he's a traveling salesman. He's in a rut, and then he finds this burger place that they're doing something completely different than what's going on in the country at the time. And he just gets enamored with it, and he wants to be part of it. So he wants to franchise with these two owners, and then just becomes an evil, greedy son of a bitch and does unspeakable business things to them. And it definitely takes a turn in the second half. But you know, I share that love of McDonald's that he has in the beginning, even to this day, knowing that they were evil people running the burger business. But it's a great movie. It's it's shot very well. Michael Keaton's fantastic in it. The Zodiac is one of the McDonald's brothers. Well, Nick Offerman's the second.
Well, he's not
McDonald's
officially
brother.
the Zodiac.
Sorry. Ted Cruz is
We
the
do know.
Zodiac. I forgot about that.
We don't want to get sued for claiming
Right.
someone's the Zodiac.
That's true. He's the who I believe is the Zodiac in the movie.
Just blame it on David Fincher. It's David Fincher's interpretation of the Zodiac.
David Fincher believes that he is the Zodiac and therefore made him the
Along with
Zodiac.
Robert
in the movie.
Graysmith.
Who else is in this movie? I know Linda Cardellini's in it and Laura Dern's in it as well. And it's just such a cool movie because it tells the story of the beginning, the birth of the fast food restaurants in America, where everything was a drive-ins were starting to get old and dingy, and America wasn't looking for that. And this guy took this small idea for a burger place that'll churn you out a burger in 30 seconds, just out of sheer, just like a well-oiled kitchen. They had everything down to a science, and it was just everything that this country not needed, but wanted at the time. And it caught on so well. And it's really interesting too, because at the time, so when they started churning out these McDonald's franchises, people would start changing the menu. It was so weird because you'd go to a McDonald's somewhere else and they'd be selling fried chicken and cornbread and fucking like lobster and shit like that. And that was a huge problem for the people that started McDonald's because they couldn't have quality control over this. And it wasn't just burgers and fries and drinks. It was people were just going crazy. So, you know, Michael Keaton's character comes in and really turns it into the well-oiled machine of like a franchise and everything being, you know, within the franchise guidelines. It's a very interesting movie. I mean, honestly, it's got a lot of history there. Well, it's also sufficient drama and all this good stuff. But yeah, Michael Keaton plays a complete piece of shit in the movie.
And it's on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Nice. It's been on my list like since the movie came out. I wanted to catch up with it.
Yeah, it's certainly worth a watch.
It looked awesome with Keaton in the lead.
He's great in it. Absolutely fantastic in it. You can't recommend it enough. Second time watching it. I'll probably watch it a third time, probably before the end of the year.
Jesus. Damn.
I mean, when I like a movie, I watch a movie until it's, you know, I get tired of watching it, I guess.
Nothing wrong with that.
But
all right.
That's what I watched.
As for myself, I watched Suspiria. I went in the whole spooky movie season type thing this past weekend and watched that on Prime Video. So I don't know how.
Is that the sequel to Disturbia?
I never heard of this one.
It is not the sequel to Disturbia, despite the name. It's a remake of a 70s horror movie, Italian horror movie called Suspiria. And it was directed by Luca something or other. He directed Call Me By Your Name. I think that's what the movie was called with Timothy Chalamet and Armie Hammer. It came out a few years ago. So this was like his follow-up to that. And this one is with Dakota Johnson and Tilda Swinton. It takes place in East Berlin in like I guess it's the 70s. At a dance studio. Tilda Swinton works there. Dakota Johnson's an American. She goes there to join this prestigious school. She gets in and everything like that. But the school is ultimately like a secret coven, like for witches. So yeah, I watched my own version of The Witches over the weekend. But yeah, I fucking hated it. It's fucking artsy fartsy, and I hate nothing more than an artsy fartsy horror movie. Love a good art house movie. Love a good horror movie. When you combine the two, I just am never fucking satisfied. And this was 2.5 hours. I was fucking waiting for it to end at like 30 minutes into it. Like I was like, I want to watch Cobra Kai. I just want to watch more episodes of that. And it just kept going. And like it starts out with the first like little thing that shows up on the screen is the fact that it's 6 acts and an epilogue. So like the entire movie, I'm like, every time the fucking screen will come up with a new act, I'm like, just go faster, go faster. I can't. The movie was just boring. It had a couple cool like scenes to it. It had good performances. It had the world famous Chloe Grace Moretz in the scene. Not Moretz, Moretz.
Moretz.
So she appears in it for a little bit. I mean, Tilda Swinton's always a strong, unusual actress. And Dakota Johnson.
What did she play in this?
She's like one of the head witches. I know it's off brand. And then Dakota Johnson was good. She's a good dancer. But it just was long and dragged out. It had some brutal scenes, which I feel like is a typical thing with art house horror movies. They want to like really shock you a couple times because they bored you for the rest of the movie. But yeah, it wasn't for me. Like it's got one scene which is pretty wild. I had heard about it at the time, but they put some sort of spell on this one girl who's just like trying to leave the group because she like finds out that, or she hears that they're like bad and everything like that. And then like Dakota Johnson gets the spell on her as well. So then like when Dakota Johnson has to do this dance, she's doing some sort of an audition. And while she's dancing, it kind of like makes the other girl like move her body parts at the same time, but like without her being prepared to move her body. So Dakota Johnson's doing this fucking crazy, fantastic dance, and this other girl's whole body is like breaking apart because like like at the end of the scene, her body's like a completely disjointed mess. Like it's gross.
That sounds horrifying.
Oh, it's like trying to force me to do a split right now.
Yeah.
Oh
Sounds-
Lord.
Sounds like Lovecraft country.
I'm looking at pictures of this movie and it looks boring as fuck, like you're saying. But chest vagina. I was not prepared for chest vagina.
Wait, chest vagina.
Maybe that's in the old one. That's all I'm seeing is like this woman has a vagina on her chest.
Maybe that's Tilda Swinton's old witch character.
Maybe it's
she plays two characters. But yeah, I don't recommend it. Corey, you might like it. You like art house, like horror movies. Our friend Andy would probably like it as well. Well, I don't know if he would, but he's a big A24 like horror movie guy.
I'll check it out.
But it's on Prime Video, so if you got Amazon Prime, I mean, if you don't like it, just stop after half an hour. Don't be a fucking sadist like myself and watch the whole thing. Should have just watched Cobra Kai. The show's awesome. I'll talk about it next week.
Great show. I'm looking forward to hearing about that because I loved watching that show.
I'm halfway through season 2, so I'm probably going to finish it tonight, and we'll talk about it next week. All right. Let's move on to the things that a bunch of us have watched.
Everyone watched except for Corey.
Well,
Yep.
no, we had 3 things, and for all 3 of them, 3 of us watched them. So
Oh, okay.
the majority of us can be involved in each of these conversations. We'll start with the movie. Hubie Halloween.
Oh boy, Puby Halloween.
So we talked about it a few weeks ago when the trailer came out, and we said we'd watch it. We fucking did it. Dude, I don't know if you guys saw, but this is his highest rated comedy on Rotten Tomatoes since The Wedding Singer.
I did. I saw that right before I started watching it, and then after I finished watching it, I was in awe about how the fuck the number was that high.
I mean, I thought it was better than a bunch of his movies, but like
Saying
that's
much.
not saying much. I definitely don't think it was his best one since The Wedding Singer, but it was like it was enjoyable. Like it's stupid, but like I laughed at the stupidity.
There were some pretty funny parts in it. His character just sucks.
Yeah, I didn't really like Hubie.
He was very annoying.
He's like superhuman when it comes to blocking things,
My
but
God,
then he
yeah.
gets scared of everything and crashes his bike all the time.
Yeah.
So can we talk about Hubie Halloween into the Sandler verse?
Yeah, of
Because we
course.
got
Oh yeah.
we got a couple of
I
like
mean, it doesn't spoil the movie at all, so why not?
No, it's the first 5 seconds of the movie.
We've got
really
it.
brings
Yeah, we
it
got a
in.
couple of scenes that connected this movie to other movies. Or, I mean, I don't know that I think we should ruin it, but I think there's
Yeah, well, we can say it's got the first scene of the movie's got a cameo from a character in one of Adam Sandler's earliest films,
I heard
Yep.
about that.
which was a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, and
I
then
know
we
when JP watched it, he was like, awesome cameo right at the very beginning. And
Yeah, I
That
mean,
that
it's-
set the bar high, and then it was just a fucking free.
yeah, that's the
for all
best.
after
That's the
that.
best scene of the movie is the opening.
So I have a question. Compared to all of the other films in Adam Sandler's, repertoire, where do you guys rank this? Is this like up there? Is it like
No.
really shit? Is it the best one ever created, like Zohan?
it's probably middle tier, I would say.
Yeah. Based on the ones I've seen, and I haven't seen the absolute fucking shit garbage he puts out on Netflix.
Yeah, either of us.
Besides this, I'd say it's definitely in the very bottom, but it's probably. Honestly, I don't even know if I could say it's better than Zohan because Zohan makes me laugh.
Fucking I love
But
that
the
movie.
story in this movie is fucking worlds better than Zohan.
Oh, okay.
I just fucking hate his character.
Yeah, JP, you want to get into the
this movie.
story just for people who aren't aware of
Yeah.
it?
So I mean, Hubie is this like mama's boy type weirdo character that he's his name might as well have just been fucking Doofy the whole time. Because he's like Doofy from Scary Movie. And he just his whole thing is I don't even know why does he like Halloween?
Because they're
Is it just 'cause he's Jewish?
Because they're in Salem, I guess. That was
Oh,
like,
because he's and in the one movie that he says he's Mom, we're Jewish. I don't have Christmas or Easter or whatever. This is all I got. So he's like the
Oh, yeah.
unofficial ambassador of or the monitor of Halloween to make sure that everyone is safe on Halloween, even though everyone in the town fucking hates him.
except for Julie Bowen.
Except for Julie
Billy
Bowen.
Bowen, who I like.
Who's so weird in this movie.
Yeah, I didn't care for the direction they went with Julie Bowen. Where she was just like, it was almost like Rick and Morty, where like that love potion is given to like
He's brainwashed the whole time.
yeah, where it's just like, why is she like? It wasn't even just like she was like, oh yeah, Hubie. He's like this nice guy. She was just like, I love Hubie. Hubie is the
Keeps
like
telling her
such a-
kids, Hubie's the greatest person ever, kids.
and it was just like.
Don't worry, he's not weird at all.
No, he doesn't have a thermos that
Don't stay away.
fucking
Don't stay away
shoots
from
grappling
Hubie.
hooks and shit.
Yeah, it was just kind of. It felt really out of place. It felt out of place how much people hated him, like especially like the adults. I was just kind of like
Ray
why do they
Liotta.
hate-
Ray Liotta's laugh.
Yeah, why does
I
Ray
missed
Liotta-
him in the fucking trailer, so I was shocked to see him in this movie.
Wait, Ray Liotta's in the movie?
Oh, he
Yeah.
assembled quite a cast.
Oh my god, yes.
That's impressive.
So I mean, so Hubie, he's like it's Halloween and he wants to protect all the kids, and then a bunch of weird disappearances start happening where he's around all of them at every time, and there's fucking ghosts and goblins and werewolves and Rob Schneider and
Yeah, there's like 10 SNL cast members, past and present, in this movie.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's a really good. I mean, they got some pretty good ones too. I love Tim Meadows, and Tim Meadows like doesn't do shit anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he was pretty funny in it. I liked his wig. It had some really like good horror tones to it for a little bit.
The stuff with Steve Buscemi was good.
Yeah, I like that. I like the disappearance stuff and sort of like the whodunit mystery type thing, even though there wasn't that great of a mystery. It's just I hated Hubie.
You know why I think? Like, I got the feeling that this movie had a plot, which
Had a pretty good plot.
I
Decent.
feel like he tried a little bit more in this one because he didn't go to a nice place to shoot the movie. Like, usually he'll go to fucking Hawaii or like just some beautiful fucking resort. In
Yeah.
this one, they just filmed it in like Massachusetts. I don't know. It just seemed like he tried a little bit more with this one.
Yeah, he didn't have some incredibly hot wife
Yeah.
character that he was with the whole
Yep.
time.
Good call. It didn't like he had his buddies, but like not too many of them, and not in like the most prominent like roles in the film.
Yeah, he missed his two best friends in the universe, it seems like, and they weren't even in it. And Kevin James had a decently small role in it. He wasn't huge.
Like Adam
Sound
Sandler shared the screen with the kids probably more than he did with like the adult characters.
Yeah.
Or
Is
well,
Alan
his
Colbert
mom. Yeah, no, but he produced it. The mom shirts made me laugh every time. But I was like, why does she keep changing her shirts? Like, I should have like caught on the fact that every scene she's in, she has a different shirt on, and
Yep.
they're all fucking.
And her friend had one too.
No, the kayaking makes me wet. She wore like multiple scenes.
Just when you first meet her and she's got the boner donor shirt on, it's pretty fucking great.
The boner like running joke was pretty funny. Even though it's ridiculous that he wouldn't know what a boner is at his age.
And that he would even know the word boner as being a joke.
Yeah. But I feel like I texted you guys this, like he's going to start including like the current SNL cast members like in his movies a lot now, just because he happened to host SNL like a year ago.
No.
Because right after he hosted it, he did this movie. 3 cast members of it that he were never in one of his movies before were all in this one. I feel like once he works with someone, they're in for life.
It's like a web.
Yeah,
he's like a spider weaving a web, and they're all getting stuck in it.
Exactly.
What were the 3 new ones? It was Maya Rudolph.
Well, she'd been in Grown Ups previously.
She was in Grown Ups. Okay, I'd never watched those.
Kenan Thompson.
Okay.
Has Mikey Day been?
Mikey Day. That was his first one.
I don't know who that is.
He was the guy who worked
The axe in his head
in the haunted house.
Oh,
What about Pete Davidson?
No, he wasn't in this one yet.
Thank
He
God.
will most surely be in them eventually.
Oh no.
And Melissa Villaseñor was his neighbor, the one who was like disgusted by
the
him.
flare gun
Yeah, I think that one.
and the cat.
When the cat made a face, I laughed pretty hysterically. Yeah, there were some good parts in it. I mean, the one vintage, not really vintage, I guess you could call it, but it felt like Little Nicky was the part with the Harley Quinn costumes where they're all like raising the roof and shit. That felt straight out of Little Nicky.
Yeah, that's like something that could be in like Mr. Deeds or Little Nicky, like back in the day.
Yeah, because there's the church scene in Little Nicky where it's like your friend Fitzy helped conceive the baby and he's raising the roof and they're all, oh man. I thought that was actually genuinely fucking hilarious that everyone was Harley Quinn and then the little girl was Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Later on in the movie.
Yep.
Yeah, but
I mean that was pretty funny.
That was probably one of my favorite parts. Is I thought the Halloween costumes were so diverse and like so well done. Like the one kid that was like Freddie Mercury.
Yeah, that was really good. I think that was the one thing that didn't make me feel like I wasted my fucking time watching this movie because it felt like a Halloween movie that you watch when you're a kid, and it really got me into the season of, hey, look at everyone trick-or-treating, even though maybe that's not going to be the case this year, although I will sacrifice my life to make sure that happens.
You bring up a good point, though. Let's say we were 12 years old and we'd watched this film. How much different do you think we would have received it? Do you think we would have looked at it similar to like The Waterboy? Or would we think the same, like it was just a mid-tier, low-tier Adam Sandler movie?
So it's funny that you bring that up because when I was thinking about how stupid the Hubie character is, just now, the only thing I could think of was Bobby Boucher.
It's the closest.
Same stupid
it's
voice.
the closest one.
So yeah, maybe if we were 12, this would have been a fucking hilarious movie. And
It would have been like a Halloween classic that we watch like every year.
I don't know about a classic that we'd watch every year, but I think I guess in my mind, it would be a lot more entertaining.
Yeah. But yeah. Of his Netflix movies, I thought it was his second best one, which isn't saying a ton about his Netflix movies. But
what would you rank higher than this one?
The one he did with Chris Rock, which I legitimately think is like a really good Adam Sandler movie. It's The Week Of. Okay. And and again, I feel like the dude tries when he's in his shitty setting. That movie's filmed in fucking like Long Island, in like a shitty part of Long Island.
Oh, okay.
So like, I feel like he tries. It might even be.
I mean-
it might even be Staten Island now that I think of it.
Everybody needs a vacation, so he just gets to film his vacations,
Mhm.
I guess, when he goes to like Hawaii
Yeah,
with Jennifer Aniston or something like that.
Yeah, and gets millions of dollars.
Yeah.
yeah, and he hires all his friends. I mean, the dude's he's doing something right. He may not be entertaining everyone, but he's entertaining a certain population of the
Yeah.
planet.
For sure.
Kids are enjoying
sure.
his shit. He gets his buddies paid. He goes on nice vacations. Hooks up with beautiful women. Can't fault him too much.
I mean, his wife's in it. His kids.
Yeah,
are
his
in
wife
it.
and kids are in it. He usually has like his like nephews in his movies too. So like, whatever. I'm happy that it wasn't a piece of shit and it didn't get like ripped apart because I'm kind of liking this Sandler renaissance.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't a piece of shit, but it wasn't like I'm probably not watching it again.
Mm-hmm.
And if I didn't watch it, in the afternoon on a weekday, I'd probably kind of want my time back.
Yeah.
But I watched it, so and it wasn't bad. Like I said, it got me in the Halloween mood. Made me want to go out and decorate my house and do the whole Halloween shtick. So, thank you, Hubie.
But moving on to our television shows of the week, as always, we've got Lovecraft Country and The Boys. We'll start with the Lovecraft Country before getting into the season 2 finale of The Boys. So we're talking episode 8 of Lovecraft Country of season 1. This is the one dealing with the aftermath of Emmett Till's murder, and the whole episode kind of taking place the day of his, wake, funeral. But this fucking show, man, every time I think I'm out, it pulls me back in.
Yeah.
Like they have their goddamn stinker episodes, but then they have really good ones. It's frustrating. I wish it could just be consistent.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
was a good episode. I really liked this one. I think a lot of that comes down to the different themes of each episode. I think that's probably why it's so inconsistent.
Mhm.
They try to really drastically do different things in every episode, whereas the story is good, but the consistency is like all over the place because of that.
Yeah, they legit try to knock it out of the park every single episode, and it's just not possible to do.
No.
Yeah.
But
And I
it
don't
was the
even-
scariest one I've ever seen of
Yeah.
the season, and maybe of any episode of television ever. Like those girls in the episode were creepy as hell.
Yep, they were.
Every episode of television ever?
I mean, television I don't think is very scary.
I feel like Hill House had probably
I've never seen it, so I can't comment.
The
scarier.
first season of American Horror Story had some really
Yeah, and the
fucking
first season
scary
of American
episodes.
Horror
I
Story.
haven't seen that either.
Both like haunted houses, but I mean, it was definitely the most horror feeling episode out of Lovecraft Country. Those girls were
More-
pretty creepy.
Yeah.
More than the third one with the haunted house, because
Yes.
that was
Yeah,
Yes,
more so than
absolutely.
the third one for sure. Yeah, the creepy little girls.
Dude, it was like a scarier version of Us.
Yeah.
That,
This was
Spot
directed.
on.
This was the first episode directed by the woman who wrote, I guess, writes for the
Yeah,
The
the
show.
showrunner.
yeah. This was the first one that she directed. I don't know if she's directing another one, but what do we have? 2 more episodes at this point?
Yeah, my guess is probably not till next season.
Yeah.
Because the first one was so late in the year.
hmm
Yeah,
I
I
will
don't
say-
have much else to say about the episode. I just thought it was.
It was freaky.
I'm still fucking now invested, and I don't know. We'll see how these last 2 episodes go. You guys watched episode 9. Brief.
I think you're gonna like
spoiler
it.
free
yeah.
thoughts.
You're definitely gonna like
I
it.
think you're gonna like it.
Yeah, it was very good.
It's very emotional.
Yeah,
And starting to
Definitely-
tie everything together. At this
they
point.
they are.
Yeah, from
Yeah.
this point on, it's all tied together. I think
Yeah,
this
I agree
last
with
one
Doug.
tied a lot
Yeah.
of stuff together, and you could tell. I watched the preview for the final episode, and you could tell that it's trying to put a bow on a lot of things. Yeah, It was good. The Freaky Friday sex thing was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be weirder if that other episode hadn't already happened. So like we're used to like the skin coming off and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird. It's a weird show. It's a very strange show.
The one thing that I think is like really spectacular about the show is that I've gotten really invested in every single character. Every single one I think is very interesting. Every main character that they've introduced, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope that the show continues on, with these characters, because they're awesome. I really like them.
And not to say too much about this past episode that you haven't seen, Murph, but I thought some of the best acting probably takes place in that episode.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of great performances.
Yeah, they definitely have made the characters. Each of them have kind of shown more depth and everything like that. Like Ruby, I like a lot now. Who's Letitia's sister. I thought the niece did a fantastic job, kind of running that one episode. Tick's cousin, and Montrose has become more interesting as it's gone along.
Yep.
So
even Hippolyta, the mother, like I think she's pretty interesting.
You can't see it on the audio, but Murph's face.
Murph does not like
just
Hippolyta.
Like a blank stare as
Well, her episode was so bad. I mean, maybe she's better. Was she in this next episode?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah,
Sort
maybe
of.
I'm just missing things. I don't know. I didn't like that episode. But again, this show is fucking different strokes for different folks. I feel like one person will fucking hate an episode, and another person will love it. I mean, it comes down to what type of genre like you like as like a horror person or just film in general.
I don't think I hated any episode. I think there was like one or two that I lost interest, but not necessarily hated. This being one of them. Like I really wasn't invested in her episode, but
yeah, there was a couple like I could have taken my time back, but the rest of them I've enjoyed for the most part. All right, next week we'll talk about the last two episodes of the season, since the season finale airs this Sunday. But let's talk about The Boys. Season 2's wrapped. What did you guys think in comparison to season 1? Corey, take those headphones off. We are going to talk about spoilers.
Spoiling it.
Girls get it done.
Yeah.
Awesome scene. That
really cool.
They did what the MCU couldn't do.
Yep. Oh yeah, for sure.
Or they did what the MCU did, but they did it well.
Yeah.
And that was having their female-led characters team up and lay a brutal smackdown in a satisfying manner.
Yeah, it's definitely what the MCU tried to do.
Yeah.
MCU did not do that. That was really cool. I don't know about the girls get it done thing at the end. I guess it's a funny callback, but holy shit, that was cool as fuck. I really wish they would have killed her right there doing that, because that was probably the most hype part of the entire episode.
Yeah, I mean, if they didn't get her killed, then we wouldn't have seen her as a fucking like stump on the ground after Homelander's son.
Her Anakin Skywalker moment.
Yeah, exactly. That's really what it was.
For sure. I was really let down with this episode, though. And I watched the last 10 minutes again today. I don't like the way it ended. I don't like that the Congresswoman to be is the head blower upper. I just think it was weak.
So to me, that was the strongest part of the episode.
Really?
Or one of the stronger parts. So what I really liked about it is they went really hard on like Stormfront's the like obvious villain. And she's like, it just like, even like politically, it was just kind of like, all right, this is very like nationalist, and the Nazi tie worked well. And you just had this like obvious apparent villain, and then it was just so. I thought it was really smart that the person on the other side that was fighting against all this propaganda was like equally as bad, if not worse. But it was just kind of like a snake the whole time. Like just was able to get in and probably do more damage by not by by opposing it rather than being the one that rather the one in the spotlight. I don't know. I thought it was cool that she was this character that they were clearly like making to be the good character, wound up being one of the bad guys, and probably someone they'll have to deal with the next season.
Yeah, I mean, Huey's going to work for her, so
Yeah.
it's only been a matter of time before she's revealed to them and becomes an enemy.
I guess I just wasn't paying attention enough. Maybe I just thought she was such a fucking minor character that once I saw, I was like, I didn't give a shit about her. I didn't give a shit about the Congresswoman. I guess at all. Is she a Congresswoman? I don't even remember what like.
I think
she
so.
was some politician.
Yeah.
Like I didn't give a shit.
She was
about
clearly
that
like
the whole time in the season.
She was painted as like a fucking AOC type person.
Yeah.
That was clear from like the start. But yeah, I can respect the fact that they had the person who is the perceived like good person in politics end up being the villain, or another villain, because everyone in The Boys is a fucking villain, to a degree. But yes, I didn't see it coming, and I didn't think it was the cool reveal that maybe you did, Doug, and JP, you didn't. I'm kind of leaning more towards what JP was thinking. But as an episode as a whole, I was fucking hooked throughout the whole thing. I didn't want it to end. Anytime you have fucking Beach Boys, God only knows, you fucking have suckered me in for a montage, no matter what the fuck the montage is about. I don't know. I enjoyed the episode.
I thought it was a little too on the nose with like shit that's going on now. Like the social media stuff and the fucking one guy's like, I can't believe I gotta say it, but Nazis are bad. Like, I thought that was a little too on the nose. Like, Stormfront's a piece of shit, just regardless. I don't know. I feel like they didn't even really need to make her a Nazi.
I feel like
she's just a fucking bad person.
The show's always been like about our times, like since season 1. Like it was all about how superheroes would be in our world, like how it would be run by corporations and all that kind of stuff. So I feel like they've earned that, but I can definitely see how people would be like, all right, like you don't need to like jam it down our throats or anything like that.
I just thought that this episode in particular sort of like knocked the volume level on it.
Yeah.
And it just, when I was watching it, just something felt off. It's like they sort of turned up that aspect of the show. And I was just like, let's get more back to like where it was before. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'm wrong, but it felt a little more heavy fisted with it.
It could have had something to do with just at the time of writing or filming, like
that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Like when they were writing this episode, they suddenly just I don't know, ramped it up. Like there was something going on.
So Stormfront in the comics was a Nazi. So that was probably more a callback to the comics than anything else.
Yeah.
That's where I did feel like it was heavy-handed, but that's where I thought the reveal with the AOC character being a bad guy kind of flipped it, where I was led into feeling like, okay, you're saying that this is bad, it's a little heavy-handed, and then that's where I thought the AOC flip was a little clever, is that it was like, maybe that's not what you were getting at. So yeah,
you're kind of being like, things aren't black and white.
Yeah, things aren't as like, we painted this as a black and white, which I hate black and white because I don't think black and white is a true picture of what the world looks like. So that's where I kind of dug the AOC part of it, where this congresswoman was actually a bad guy too, because it was like, all right, well, she's bad too, and everyone thought she was the good guy. She was preaching against all this, all of Stormfront's Nazi propaganda. She's just as terrible, if not worse, than Stormfront. So I thought that was cool. I still felt like the season meandered. It wasn't as clean or as tight of a script season long as the first season, and that kind of disappointed me. Acting was still top notch.
Yep.
That last scene, I don't know if you guys read anything about it, with Homelander jerking off on the Chrysler building. That was a scene that they filmed in the first season, and Amazon wouldn't let them use it.
Really?
If you
That's
look
awesome.
at it, if you look at it again, like his hairstyle, it's his Homelander's hairstyle from season 1.
No shit.
I didn't even know he changed his hairstyle.
Yeah, it was like parted in the first season, and the second season it's like completely back.
Wow.
But
So
yeah,
was that supposed to go at the end of the last season after he kills Elizabeth Shue's character?
I
feel
don't
like that
know,
would probably be
but
like in the middle of the show or something like that.
Amazon wouldn't let them use it, and they were just like, yeah, this is too much, and like we don't feel like it has a purpose.
Dude,
The story.
So they just added a scene where he tries to blow himself, and then
the
they're
show
like,
fucking
"Okay, there
like
you go."
runs Prime Video now. Like, it
Yeah, I
is
think season 2 they were just like, fuck you, Prime, we do what we want on the
Yeah.
show.
Here's some even more fucked up scenes with him.
yeah, like
maybe
that
we
was
can use
far
that other
from the
one
most
now.
fucked up scene that Homelander had this season.
Oh,
Far
yeah.
from it.
Yeah, no, and I thought like for footage that they had that they couldn't use in the first season, it worked perfectly. I thought in the
For
to
sure.
end off the second season.
So-
But, yeah,
I mean, he really can't do whatever he wants to at this point. So I feel like his character is kind of in this weird limbo that I didn't really like. He's very much so they have the dirt on him. He's not going to hurt Starlight or Queen Maeve. But what's his fucking purpose in life now? He's got no motive for the next one other than just to be angry at them.
He's
for
basically
being-
just gonna go back into like stasis where he just like
Yeah.
just does what he does, but like is miserable until he has another breakdown. And when he finally has his fucking next breakdown, I feel like that's when he's gonna be like the big fucking bad, and everyone's gonna know it.
yeah. I was kind of. I don't know if I can't remember if it was Kripke that said it or if it was just like fan theories, but Homelander is supposed to potentially go off next season, like completely off the rails.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah. that'd
Which
be
is
fun.
like, it's hard to believe that he's been on the rails this entire time.
What do you guys want to see the most out of season 3? Or what would you like to see out of season 3?
At this point, I don't even know. Like, I'm not really excited for much anything, honestly, after that last episode. I guess Homelander going crazy, I guess, is the only saving grace for me right now. I
Yeah,
don't really like where they left it.
I think better storytelling is more what I want. I mean, I love Homelander, so of course I want to see more Homelander doing crazy shit. And I thought the Deep, they didn't really know what to do with this season.
And then they got rid of the church.
Yeah.
I thought that was fucking stupid. The church had such a meandering, like you said, like a meandering plot that this whole season, and then
It was just to
dude
keep,
gets his head blown up, and
the whole point of the church was to keep the Deep busy because they didn't have anything to do with them.
yeah,
Yeah, they
and act
they
as
do
like a mild plot line to sabotage Stormfront and get A-Train back into the 7.
Yeah, they need to have more to do with him next year. Figure out how to incorporate him with one of those two groups, because he's been on his own island for too long, and he's got to swim to the fucking everyone else.
He's so pointless though. He's such a useless character.
He's so
though.
funny though. Like,
Yeah, he's
gotta
hilarious.
Utilize him.
Yeah, Chase Crawford just like kills the role. Like they got to use him somehow. A-Train never really does anything for me.
Nah, I don't really care.
No,
about
but I
A-Train.
did enjoy the scene where he turned and like
Yeah,
when he was like, "I'm not fucking following you." He's like, "I was able to find you like so quickly just from like scouring like the burrow."
yeah. That was pretty much the only thing I've ever been like, oh, cool, A-Train. and then he's just been sort of like his arc in the first season was fine, where he kills Pop Claw, and then has to deal with all that stuff. I mean, that's good. That was some good plot. But the second season, he was just like, fuck Fresca, you know.
Yeah. I don't know what changed with season 2, where the writing just didn't feel as good.
I think it was probably just trying to be more ambitious, and
yeah, I hope they kind of tighten it again. I know in season 3.
I think it will probably be more tight, just because at this point, everyone in the boys, they've got clean records. Like, you're not gonna have to worry about them like hiding underground or everything, or certain people hunting them. Like the whole fucking chessboard is like fucking reset back to fucking the beginning. So,
and they're sanctioned now.
Yeah, exactly. They're allowed to do what they're doing.
To a degree.
The boys aren't infighting, or the 7 aren't infighting as much. They're not going to be able to, at least in the beginning of the season. So,
you guys
it's really. I was just gonna say it's really just Homelander versus everyone else at this point.
That's what it's going to end up becoming.
Yeah, I mean, Black Noir is still alive, right?
Yeah, he's got his peanut allergy, but he's alive.
I think he's in a coma or something. He's like.
I think that's what they said. Well, they said I think he's in a coma, but it's hard to tell because he doesn't speak.
Yeah, so he's in a weird state. Are we getting Tech Knight next season, or have they not said?
That'd be cool.
All we know is that we're getting
Jensen Ackles, Soldier Boy.
Yep. And you vouch for this Jensen Ackles fellow?
I don't know who he is.
He's hilarious. Yeah, he'd be great.
What's he from?
Supernatural.
Oh.
Kripke's gonna slowly bring in all the Supernatural.
Yeah, I'm waiting for him to bring in Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
He already brought in the President was a big character from Supernatural. So once he brings in Jensen Ackles, that'll be 2. Just gotta keep slowly bringing them over.
Weren't they trying to bring in Jeffrey Dean Morgan, but it just didn't work out?
Yeah, I mean, he's busy with Walking Dead, but The Walking Dead's on its final season, so
good.
It's
until it walks again.
I have to imagine he will end up being on there.
That'd be cool. I like him.
He will be a perfect fit based on the way he is on The Walking Dead. He's on The Walking Dead. He's like his own fucking character. Like, he's on his own show on The Walking Dead. The way he performs,
isn't he the main character now?
Perfect. I guess you'd say the main character is Norman Reedus. It's more of an ensemble now than a main character than a show with a main character.
Isn't Norman Reedus getting his own show then?
After The Walking Dead ends.
Wouldn't they just fucking name it The Walking Dead then? If he's the main character?
You'd think. But they're just
going to do a spin-off.
They're going to get rid of like
character.
all the supporting characters because there's so many at this point.
It's a weird show.
Yeah, hopefully we get Boys is back and by the end of 2021. I really don't want to wait till 2022 for new episodes.
So
yeah,
the last I'm reading just on Google is they were talking that Kripke was talking to Jeffrey D. Morgan about season 3. And then with the pandemic,
I mean, plenty of people do multiple shows at once. So I mean, he could do Walking Dead and The Boys at the same time.
It's probably just a matter of travel.
Yeah, travel, scheduling, all that kind of stuff.
But like with the pandemic, if you're traveling between states, having to quarantine for 2 weeks or whatever might be an issue.
Yeah.
It'd be cool. I mean, it'd be pretty neat actually if they were to make him Tech Knight, because that's like the Batman-ish type character. I think is the point.
He'd be perfect.
He'd get to play his Thomas Wayne Batman.
Fingers crossed for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Season 2, I feel like was kind of overall was entertaining, but it didn't do a ton for me towards the end. There's some really good episodes, and then there's just some that I was like this last one, where it's like, eh.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to season 3.
Yeah, I thought it was weaker than season 1, but still entertaining.
But yeah, when Corey watches it, we will talk about it again.
don't even give him that satisfaction of being able to talk about it.
It might happen this week.
I mean, it has to be on.
I don't want to hear any more of your promises.
It has to be on his list of what he watched. Otherwise, we don't talk about it. So
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what the week brings.
probably won't bring the boys.
It definitely won't bring the boys.
I will be watching Hubie Halloween, though.
Oh, boy.
That's a guarantee.
That's what you said last week.
Multiple times.
You were like, I'm watching it the moment it's out. Before any of it.
No, I'll watch it tomorrow. I'll
wasn't
get to
around-
it before we start
And then
recording.
fucking JP of all of us ended up being the first person to watch it.
I need my Halloween fix.
I was like moving shit all day on fucking Saturday. I didn't have time to watch anything.
Corey,
It
you
was
watched
Sunday.
9 hours of Blind House.
Yes,
Or Blind Manor.
exactly. I watched 9 hours
And
in
Hubie
one
Halloween.
day.
Hubie Halloween came out last Wednesday.
Hubie Halloween's what, like 45 minutes? How
I
long
was
is
in-
that movie?
I was
It's
invested.
like an
in-
hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I was invested in Bly Manor, so I decided to watch that, and then I was like, I want to watch Lovecraft Country, and that's how my mind worked that night.
Sure. Well, let's get into the Halloween films right now. So, our feature presentation tonight is our favorite Halloween movies. Not necessarily movies set around Halloween, but films to watch during the month of October, as we are in spooky season. So, let's dig in. I guess we can go right to the godfathers of horror films. Wes Craven, John Carpenter. Let's start with Wes Craven. So, Nightmare on Elm Street and Scream. Obviously, we've talked about both of these films in the past. Which do you guys prefer?
Nightmare on Elm Street for me, I think. As I've gotten older, it's changed. I think Nightmare on Elm Street, I just enjoy a little bit more now. I don't really know why, but it's more fascinating to me. Whereas Scream is awesome, but I think it's been done so many times since then that I like to have like a more cerebral horror type of movie than like a straight up slasher movie.
You mean there's been a lot of other slasher movies since Scream, or
Yeah. Like it's been. I mean, Scream was the original, and like the original like of that. I guess of that type of horror movie,
like a
that
meta
type of
type of
slasher
horror
movie.
movie?
Yeah. I mean, it obviously wasn't the first slasher movie, but it kind of brought it into the forefront in the 90s, and I think like it's more important to us because we were growing up with it. But I think it's been done so many times, that formula, since that it's kind of stale for me. So at this point, I would say Elm Street.
by you gentlemen?
Go ahead, Doug.
Yeah, I've seen Scream once around the time it came out.
Wow,
And so-
really? Only
Yeah.
once?
So I just don't really remember Scream that much.
It makes sense. It was 24 years ago.
Yeah, in
Yikes.
comparison to Nightmare on Elm Street. So Nightmare on Elm Street, I would pick just because I've seen it more recently. It's iconic. It had a ton of movies. It's been parodied a few times. It's just a staple. But I think this Halloween season, I definitely need to go back and recheck out Scream because it's been too long.
It'd be good it'd be good to watch it before Scream 5 comes out next year. Or not next year, but January of 2022.
I will say Scream has the stronger movies, like stronger collection of movies. Most of the Elm Street movies are garbage. There's only like maybe like I think 4 that are actually good. Whereas the Scream movies, I enjoy all of them.
That's kind of what sways me. I'm in the Scream camp because I don't really like slasher movies. I don't really like overly violent things. But Scream just feels like more cohesive movies. and they're also kind of a parody of the genre that they're in without
being
they're kind of
without
like a
being
parody
a
of
scary movie.
Yeah, well, they're kind of like there's slasher movies that are parodies of slasher movies while still being a slasher movie.
Yeah.
Wrap your head around that for a second. It's weird. It's like it's making fun of itself as it's doing exactly what it's making
It's
fun.
very
of.
self-aware.
Very meta. Very meta.
Yeah, it's
like you
very
said.
self-aware. I like them. I don't necessarily ever really want to go back and watch them whimsically, but if like one of you guys are watching it, if like we're somewhere and watching it, I don't mind watching those types of movies. Like I think I saw the fourth one in theaters with you guys.
Mm-hmm.
They're pretty good movies, and at least I don't remember the third one at all.
It's the weakest one.
Yeah, I don't remember that one at all. But the first two are pretty good, just on their own.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one's like okay.
Yeah. No, that's basically you've summed up exactly how I appreciate all four of those films.
Yeah, but like the fourth Nightmare on Elm Street's a complete fucking steaming pile of shit.
Yeah.
And the fifth one, and like there are some real stinkers.
Almost all
in there.
those sequels are pretty fucking bad.
There's
Yeah.
maybe 3 that are good, and that's including the original.
Yeah, but I would agree with you guys about. I'll take Scream. I mean, the first Scream is one of my favorite movies, so that just wins. I just like that they're both funny and exciting. They're not remotely scary, but they are thrilling, and that's what I want out of a thriller.
Oh, the first scene in the first Scream movie is pretty scary.
That is the scariest scene in the entire series. Yeah.
That still holds up as like probably one of the best, horror movie openers.
It's probably the
That
only
grabs
scene
you.
where they're trying to be a horror movie.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, I would definitely agree with you there. Any other Craven movies to shout out? I mean, you guys have seen Hills of Eyes, or at least the remake of it.
Yeah.
Last House on the Left. Again, the remake is the one I've seen. I do have to go back into his older films and actually see them. But yeah, Scream and A Nightmare on Elm Street definitely have left the biggest imprint.
New Nightmare is like one of my favorites of Wes Craven's films. I really, that's another one that's self-aware. He did that before Scream. I mean, I guess that was something that he enjoyed doing, where he kind of broke the fourth wall in a way. But that movie's fantastic. I think I like that maybe more than the original. I don't know.
There's one very important one that we're missing.
What's that?
And that'd be Red Eye.
Ooh.
Starring Cillian Murphy.
I thought you were going to say Vampire in Brooklyn.
I was thinking about that, but I've never seen it.
Wes Craven directed Red Eye?
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Wow. I didn't even realize that.
He has a very interesting filmography. He directed that Meryl Streep movie, Music in My Heart. It had like an NSYNC song that was really popular on TRL back when we were in middle school.
Interesting.
How lovely.
Yeah. But what about John Carpenter? I mean, obviously Halloween, that series is his most iconic series. We've talked about some of his individual horror films before, such as The Thing. What do you prefer to get out of your Carpenter horror films?
I mean, I'm definitely in the Thing camp. I mean, that movie I watch multiple times a year. I just love it. It's just always been one of his movies that I really enjoy. But yeah, I mean, Halloween is so iconic. I mean, it's also really good. But I think if I had to choose, it would probably be The Thing for me, for his horror movies.
Yeah, the Thing is really good. It's a good, scary sci-fi movie. Obviously, Halloween's the big one. I'm not really a big slasher movie guy, but I mean, he's got stuff like Christine, which is probably one of the lesser shitty Stephen King adaptations.
One of the, but it's probably one of the higher rated Cars Kill People films.
Definitely better than The Car. It's got 69 on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't mind it as much.
I've seen it a couple times, but yeah.
it's that's a pretty okay one. And then I like They Live, which is not so much a horror movie, but it's definitely got some weird shit to it. It stars Roddy Piper.
Oh man, Ghosts of
and,
Mars.
Ew, fuck Ghost of Mars. And it's definitely got some good Halloween costume potential out of They Live, because you can be the ghost of the weird aliens that take over the planet. But John Carpenter's got a weird bunch of movies. The fact that he made Halloween, which is such like a mainstream horror movie, is actually kind of wild, because he's not really a mainstream guy.
I mean,
he just sort of does
the
weird shit. The
intention
with
definitely
Kurt Russell.
wasn't for it to be this major movie. It just blew up.
Yeah.
He made it the same way he makes his other films, and it stuck. But yeah, I mean, he definitely has a very interesting career as well. I mean, he's got his action movies and everything like that, along with his slasher horror films.
Yeah. I mean, but to say that Halloween is not one of the most iconic Halloween movies that'd be blasphemous.
Yep, 100%. I mean, I think it is the Halloween movie I think of when people talk about Halloween movies. It has an advantage in the fact that Halloween's in its title. So immediately the brain goes and connects to that. But
it's been one of the most popular Halloween costumes probably for the last 40 years.
Yep. I was fucking Michael Myers for Halloween in 6th grade.
Yeah. And to think it was just a William Shatner mask painted white.
Yeah, I think Shatner's probably not the happiest person in the world about that. He wishes he can get some money.
Probably. I'm sure they'll pay him the price for the mask.
True.
They'll give him $9.99 in royalties.
All right, and then if we're going to talk really about another like Godfather of horror, but pivoting to books, I mean, you've got Stephen King. He's had so many of his films adapted. Which ones?
Yeah, we just talked about one. I didn't even notice that we had him right after this, because Christine was done by John Carpenter.
Yeah,
boom.
True. Which ones stand out to you guys of his horror adaptations? Obviously, The Shining does for me. I've talked about that in the past. In the early
Shining's
a
seriously spooky movie.
Yeah, that's one that sticks out for me.
It's more of a Stanley Kubrick than a Stephen King, but
yeah,
definitely.
It's. I think for me, I really liked it, the new version of it. I would say probably just chapter 1, because chapter 2 didn't really speak to me as much as the first one did. But I mean, creepy clown. I don't think it doesn't take place in Halloween, but I think it's spooky enough that it's a solid Halloween watch.
It's a shame.
I actually like part 2. I actually like part 2. I'm part of the minority that I loved it. I remember sitting in the movie theater. I think I saw it by myself, and I was just enthralled by it, just because I read the book. It's like 1,200 pages long. I've wasted a lot of my life reading that book, and it just felt like I was in the pages of a Stephen King book, because 75% of the movie was exposition about each character on their own little individual journey. And that's like reading a Stephen King book.
That is a Stephen King book.
Yeah.
You could read the 40 pages and it's describing how somebody looked.
Yeah. Like the first 400 pages of a Stephen King book is giving you the life story of every character involved. And then once you finish that, you're like, I can finally read the story. And then you have another 700 pages to go to read the story.
It's insane. Like someone pulls up in a car and he describes like it's great in the way that you can picture it, but you're going to read like pages about this car and like every little detail about that car.
I will say though, at the end of the book, you're exhausted and you feel like when one of these characters dies, you actually do feel a little bit of a loss because of how much you've read about them.
Yeah.
I've gotten really attached to Stephen King characters over the years. I've read way too many of his books.
Yeah, he's a good writer. His movies, a lot of them aren't good.
Pretty hit or miss.
Yeah,
mostly it's a miss.
Yeah, there's a couple of gems.
It's mostly the short stories that hit because they're allowed to take more, a little bit more chances with it and interpret it in different ways because his books are definitely not written to be movies. Like with The Shining, it's completely different than the book.
Yeah.
It chapter 1, they followed it pretty meticulously. Chapter 2 was pretty meticulous as well, and I think that's why a lot of people didn't care for it as much. I've never seen Pet Sematary, but people seem to really like that.
The original's good. The remake was.
Yeah, I didn't like the remake when we had seen
Yeah.
when we saw that
Original's
last year.
good.
The book was scary as shit. I remember that.
Yeah, it's creepy. One that always sticks out to me is Misery.
Yeah,
With Kathy Bates and James Caan.
That's a great one.
That movie, I think I watched it maybe within the past 2 years. I don't remember if it was on TV or it was just streaming somewhere. And I watched it for the first time in a while. And it's not scary. But it's really unsettling, especially with certain scenes that happen in the movie. But it's very uncomfortable, but good performances by those two characters.
Yeah,
or two actors.
Fairly short novel too. It's only 420 pages for Mr. King.
And his first adaptation, Carrie, obviously is a horror classic.
You I know it is going to be pretty scary, and it's more because of the situation we're in right now. But they're supposed to be doing a TV series on The Stand.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
That's gonna be pretty spooky.
Who's adapting that again?
I feel like it's been the last 7 years they've been adapting that.
I feel like it's someone who just had a bomb in theaters.
Trying to look it up. I thought it was gonna be the guy that did The Dark Tower. Wow, there's a whole cast and everything. They're actually been filming this?
I think so.
I think it's definitely gonna happen.
Oh, it's it's the New Mutants director.
Oh boy,
which is still in
James Marsden.
It's still in the top 5 movies of the week.
The cast is pretty underwhelming. It's like Whoopi Goldberg. I don't know if this is true. This is what it says on IMDb. It's James Marsden starring as the main role, and Whoopi Goldberg's in it. Amber Heard, I don't know if she's still in it.
I doubt it.
Probably
film her
not.
from jail.
The cast seems incredibly underwhelming based on what I remember reading to begin with.
I mean, if you're looking at Wikipedia, it's definitely correct.
Well, this is IMDb.
Yeah, I'm looking at Wikipedia. It's the same people: James Marsden, Amber Heard, Greg Kinnear, Whoopi Goldberg.
Such a good book.
Ezra Miller, Alexander Skarsgård. Damn, it's got a pretty good cast.
That's actually one that I never read.
I'm not a big fan of this cast at this
Marilyn
point.
Manson.
Oh boy,
Heather Graham. It's a odd cast.
Yeah, I don't see any of these. I don't see any of those on this IMDb list. I don't see Heather Graham. I don't see.
She was very far
Skarsgård.
down on the list.
Oh, okay.
I haven't read that in a post-COVID world, but I imagine the content's gonna be extra scary.
It could be either extra scary or just stupid because they try and tailor it more towards
today,
our lives now. And
I mean, that was a Captain. What was it? I don't know. Blanket on the name of the virus, but that thing was. I just remember certain pages of that book where it's so and so stepped on a bus, the entire bus got the sickness, and then so and so they would just follow the person, and how many people they would infect within a short period of time, and that disease, thankfully isn't anything like COVID. It would kill people within a day.
Yeah, I worry about that. If that was a thing now, we would all be dead. Someone would have killed me for toilet paper.
It's.
I just the scene in that book where he walks through the Lincoln Tunnel is just horrifying.
Yeah,
getting back from New York City down to New Jersey.
So maybe not watch The Stand because it might hit a little too close to home.
They're taking their time with making
It's a-
that one now.
It's a good story. I mean, once you get past the stuff with the virus, it gets very devilly and shit. And Alexander Skarsgård is playing Randall Flagg, so I'm okay with that. That's a good character. I wish it would have been McConn's though. Do the whole Dark Tower universe. Except for that movie was a steaming pile of shit. Gone off on a rail here.
We have taken a detour, but that's fine. It's not like we haven't done that before. But let's pivot over to, I think, the director who probably is most synonymous with Halloween, and that would be Tim Burton. I mean, nobody looks like they were made for Halloween more than Tim Burton.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
But he's clearly had some of the classics, Nightmare Before Christmas, Sleepy Hollow. Beetlejuice isn't necessarily a Halloween film, but it very much has the spirit of a Halloween film. So yeah, what type of Burton film, when it comes to anything in the realm of horror, do you prefer? The more lighthearted ones, the more funny ones, the more supernatural and scary ones?
Nightmare Before Christmas has the Tim Burton feeling without being a Tim Burton movie.
Yep.
Because it's not a Tim Burton movie. It's very much a Halloween movie and a Christmas movie. It's a fucking Halloween movie.
It's a Halloween movie, definitely.
I get in fights with people about this. It's a fucking Halloween movie.
Yeah, it's Halloween.
My wife's avid that it is a Christmas movie. And just because it says Christmas in the title, does not make it a Christmas movie.
I mean, he does go to the North Pole.
He does.
It's more than just in the title, but yeah, it feels more Halloween. You got Halloween Town.
It came out before Halloween when it was in theaters. Disney knew it was a Halloween movie.
It's one of the more Halloween feeling movies just because the entire town is based on the holiday of Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Hubie in that way, where it's just like all Halloween.
I love the style of it. It gets you in the mood real fast. All the songs in the beginning are just outstanding. It's a great movie.
It's crazy that the majority of that movie is like mocap, or not like
it's all stop motion, right?
Motion
yeah,
animation,
stop motion.
Yeah. Where like Jack's skeleton?
Jack
Skellington. Like all of his facial animations, they're just like switching out heads with.
Yeah.
It's just like that's so tedious.
Yeah, it takes a certain type of person that hates themselves to make a movie like that. Because I feel like that's very tedious.
But so well done, and
yeah,
definitely. I think we all agree a Halloween movie.
Oh, definitely, yeah. You just gotta tell my wife that.
She can for our Christmas episode, she can come in and try to make why it should be a Christmas movie.
Well, at the same time, Corey's pitching us on Die Hard being a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have my whiteboard and my presentation ready.
That'll be great for our listeners.
You'll have that ready the same time you watch Hubie Halloween.
No, because I'm watching Hubie Halloween soon. I might just watch it after we're done with this.
He's gonna argue that Hubie Halloween's a Christmas movie because he watched it on Christmas.
I mean, I know we talked about Beetlejuice a lot. JP had watched Sleepy Hollow, so we had talked about that.
Yeah.
Any other Tim Burton movies?
I put this on the list. It's not a Tim Burton movie. It feels like it in the same vein that Nightmare Before Christmas is, but Coraline is a wonderfully freaky, fucked up nightmare stop motion movie. Kind of in the same vein, at least visually, as Nightmare Before Christmas. But it's a really cool movie. It's got some actual nightmare scenes in it. And it just definitely has that feel. It's something I'm going to be watching this month for Halloween. And I'm very excited to watch it again because I just think it's such a cool movie. It's such a cool story. I don't know if any of you have seen it before, but I definitely recommend watching it in the month of October.
Yeah, no, I've never seen that one.
Yeah, I've never seen it either.
I've never seen Frankenweenie either, but that was probably a Halloween-ish Tim Burton / Disney movie.
Yeah, that kind of looked like crap. But that was one of his original stories from way back in the day, right?
For a crap movie.
It's a metaphor for a crap movie.
Yeah,
Wasn't that-
he did a short of it back in the 80s.
Yeah.
When he was at Disney.
I mean, that's cool that he got to do his thing.
Yeah, went full circle.
I saw online. I just like could go just to see if I like missed anything, if we were missing anything for our list. Halloween movies, and someone put Edward Scissorhands.
What?
That doesn't feel like a Halloween movie to me.
Isn't there snow?
No.
Isn't there snow in that movie? That's more of a Christmas movie.
Yeah, I think it takes place during like around Christmas time, but it's not a Christmas movie.
It's an emo movie.
Yeah, it really is just an emo movie. When we do our
Yeah.
emo movie list, it will be right on the top.
You know what it is though? It's a pretty damn good Halloween costume.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it is.
And it's
Elaborate.
a fucked up weird movie.
And that was the beginning of the romance between Tim Burton and Johnny Depp, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that it was.
That was the start of it.
And that was one of the last movies that Vincent Price did.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
I think that you could I don't know, man. If Vincent Price is in a movie,
Then
it might
then
automatically
means
be a Halloween movie. He was good in that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Thriller, the music video, is a Halloween movie.
This is true. If you consider like
I could go with that.
video, a movie.
No, I could.
I used to watch it every Halloween. We had it recorded on a tape, and
Yeah.
I would watch the Thriller music video because it was so cool.
Michael Jackson's a fucking horror show.
This was before he was
I know.
as scary as he ultimately got.
Funny.
This is when he was still cool.
It was when he looked like a human being.
I love at the end of the movie, or I guess it's like midway through when he turns out to be a monster and everyone's all scared. And
Yeah. that's
now you
good.
watch it now, you're like, just wait, because in real life he gets even scarier looking.
Way scarier. All right, let's move into the current masters of horror, James Wan and Blumhouse. So Jason Blum. I don't think anyone's had more of an impact on horror over the past 20 years than these two. They're like a Venn diagram kind of, because they met in the middle with the Insidious franchise. But I mean, James Wan started out the 2000s, dominated Halloween with the Saw movies. From there, it kind of went into the Blumhouse Paranormal Activity movies, and then the Conjuring movies, that whole universe, which James Wan created. They also did the Insidious movies together. The creator of Saw, Lee Wannell, he works with Blumhouse, did The Invisible Man. So they all kind of dominated horror for the past 20 years. What's really crazy is just like how different all these films are, how different these series are. I mean, Paranormal Activities is low budget as it comes. It's kind of going the Blair Witch route, but even on like a cheaper budget. Saw had like that whole torture porn thing where everyone was trying to copy it and be as violent as possible, like the Hostel movies and whatnot. And then Insidious and The Conjuring does the whole haunted house thing, which is just classic stuff. So what would you say are what type of horror have you enjoyed the most over the past 20 years? Which of those fads did you like? Which ones didn't you like? And things like that.
I know for me, the most impactful was probably, and I didn't see them when they first came out. You know, I saw them from a recommendation from you and Andy, Murph. But Conjuring. I think the Conjuring universe films, I mean, I've always enjoyed horror movies, but there haven't been many films that actually, like, legitimately freaked me the fuck out. until I saw like the original Conjuring, and I was like, damn, this is good, and like it got me. Like I was pretty disturbed even after the movie ended. So, and most of those movies have had that same effect on me, except for like maybe like one in that series. But yeah, I mean, I think that's my favorite. Saw is probably my least favorite, I would say. That torture porn type of film. It's just cheap thrills.
Yeah, definitely on the whole Conjuring being the best of the bunch, the most enjoyable, has the most traditional scares, with good stories for the most part. Not all of the spin-offs have worked, but that main series is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that have done nothing for me would be the paranormal activity movies. I think by the time I saw that first one in theaters, the hype was so high and it just did nothing for me.
I will say with Paranormal Activity, I saw that in theaters like during the hype when people wasn't right when it came out, but it was like within the first 2 weeks. And I remember going and seeing it and like just being in like that type of atmosphere where everyone is like amped up and like, you know, ready to be scared. Like that kind of added to the experience and made it pretty thrilling, I guess. But yeah, I mean, if I saw it watching it on my couch, if I watched it on my couch, it probably wouldn't have definitely been the same effect.
JP or Doug, did you see any of these franchises at all?
Hell no.
Yeah, that's not your bag.
I love Halloween, but man, do I hate being scared.
No, I mean outside of I've seen Saw. I've seen like a few of the Saws.
Oh yeah,
Not
I think
really-
we saw 5 in theaters together for some reason.
Maybe, and I've seen like I probably have seen 1 through 5. I mean, they're all basically the same thing. The twist in the first one I thought was pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, I'm not really a big fan of
You
the
never
torture porn aspect of it. Invisible Man was entertaining, but
Doug, did you see the Conjuring movies?
no, I haven't seen the Conjuring movies.
You should watch the first two. I think
Are they
think there's a
available
chance.
online for free, like
I
through
think
Netflix?
they might be on HBO Max.
Yeah, I think they're on HBO Max now, including the Annabelle movies. But I would check out Conjuring 1 and 2. I think you would like them. They're scary, but I think you would
They've
like
got
them.
strong performances from like Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga.
Yeah, I would definitely watch it. I haven't been intentionally avoiding them. I just never
Yeah.
got around to seeing them.
Have either of you seen the Insidious movies? I know Murph, we've talked about them. I don't know if you saw the first one.
I not
You didn't
no.
watch.
No, I
That-
haven't seen it.
I've seen the first two, and I think there's 4
Mhm.
at this point. But the first two were very, very good, very, very good, in a very different way than like Conjuring. It's a pretty cool spin on like the haunted house, you know, model where like, you know, the house is actually haunted. Well, in these they kind of like do something very unique with it, and Patrick Wilson's in it.
Yep. Yeah, it's James Wan's muse. Yeah, it's something I got to catch up on, because I hear good things. Going to a completely different direction, though. I mean, Disney has had its fair share of Halloween films. Who in the world wrote this list of films? I am not familiar with fucking like any of them other than Hocus Pocus.
Oh, I've seen all the Halloween towns.
Halloween Towns I've seen yeah.
Multiple times.
Why did Callie make you watch it?
Because it's Halloween, Murph, and they're on TV, and you watch them all.
Wait.
You watch Halloween Town, then you watch Halloween Town 2, Calabar's
Who
Revenge.
are in these films?
No one.
No one.
Yeah.
Literally
I'm
no
actually
one.
pretty sure they killed all of the actors and actresses after making the movies, so they could never be in anything else ever again. No, it's like the same Disney fodder that they threw out in like the early 2000s. Like the same people that had a career at Disney and then probably went off to do something better with their
Probably
lives.
went off to
Why-
do drugs.
Why isn't Ernest Scared Stupid on this?
Yeah, Ernest Scared Stupid, because I'm going to talk about it later.
Corey,
because-
we have the thing, and you can add
You
whatever you
know?
want to it. So if it's
Well,
not
no,
on the list, it's because you didn't
J-
add it.
It's because
It's
JP's
down-
got
it's
it
down-
in
it's
'91.
down later. I got a lot to say about that.
All right. Well, Hocus Pocus is the quintessential Disney.
It's
Disney
become
Halloween
it for
film.
sure.
Shit, I
It has
watched that
always
last
been.
night.
Yeah, it's always been. I grew up in the household where my mom loved Bette Midler. My mom probably watched this movie like every day at one point. I did also when I was a kid. It's a great film.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I watched it last night. It's fucking fantastic.
it's very Halloween because it takes place during Halloween.
Yeah.
So this is like the same thing with Hubie Halloween that I was talking about. It's the scenes with everyone trick or treating.
Yeah.
It gets you in the mood.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, everyone's got their Halloween outfits on, and they're going house to house, and it feels Halloween. Takes place in Salem. I mean, Hubie just basically ripped off Hocus Pocus.
It seems like it.
I haven't seen Halloween Town, but
Are people going to be watching Hubie Halloween like they watch Hocus Pocus in the year
Fucking hope
the
not.
year 2050?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna have to beat up my kids if I come downstairs and they're watching Hubie Halloween for Halloween.
Jesus, it'd be 2047 if people are watching Hubie Halloween the way they watch Hocus Pocus now.
Good Lord.
Jeez.
I guess that would be weird because then my kids would be 27 living at home and watching Hubie Halloween. I would have to kick them out of the house in principle then too, I guess.
You'll probably have it'd be like an early 20-something-year-old. Although
Yeah, that'd be
still
pretty
they
bad.
shouldn't be watching Hubie Halloween.
It'd be pretty fucking bad. Oh Lord. Hocus Pocus is a great movie. It made Sarah Jessica Parker look attractive for like probably one of the only times,
I think so too.
in my opinion.
Oh, I just saw a tweet the other day about how someone said Joan Cusack was a smoke show in Addams Family Values, and I thought of last weekend.
as Debbie, as fucking Debbie, she was insufferable. She was like one of the best villains, but like they did not make her attractive. She was just supposed to be fucking a horrible person.
Yeah, that's what I got.
I
from
mean,
it.
props to Joan Cusack for being a fantastic actor,
She's
but
such a good
I
villain.
don't ever think smoke show when I think of Joan Cusack.
But yeah, I immediately thought of last weekend when we were watching Addams Family Values.
Yeah. I mean, those movies, I guess.
Yeah, they're
we kinda
Halloween
skip
movies.
those. Those are fantastic Halloween movies. Pretty much anything that you put on Freeform, as it's known now.
Oh, that's what it's.
Can
Yeah,
be
that is what it's
Halloween
called.
Yeah. It's
I know
not-
that in my bleak future, I'm going to be watching Twitches 1 and 2, which of course is
The fuck is Twitches?
it's the movie starring Tia and Tamara Mowry as witches.
I think I've seen.
And they got a sequel, Twitches 2.
I think I saw
there
the
you
first
go.
one. I think I saw the first one back in the day.
I'm not prepared for what I'm about to watch, but we've been watching Little Sister in preparation, I guess, because that's on Netflix now.
So-
But yeah, I mean, Ghostbusters could be a Halloween-y type movie to watch. That's all over Freeform,
It's not a Halloween movie though.
but it's a movie I would love to watch on Halloween.
You'd watch it on fucking Independence Day.
Shut up! They don't know that.
Let's
Let's see. I can go down to 31 Nights of Halloween with you right now if you'd like, because
We're gonna have our
Die
it's
Hard.
available on the
Die
internet.
we're
Hard
gonna have
to be
our favorite
considered.
Arbor Day movies, and JB's gonna be like
Arbor Day
Ghostbusters.
movies. I mean, I'd watch it on Arbor Day. You got the Simpsons Treehouse of Horrors.
Mm.
They're doing a horror-thon of those on Freeform.
Nice.
Casper, pretty fucking good movie to watch on Halloween. The 95 Casper live action with what's her face? The doll-looking woman.
Christina Ricci.
Goosebump.
Yeah, Christina Ricci.
What about Goosebumps? Watch like the Haunted Mask movie. That's a good
Are
one.
You Afraid of the Dark?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would be a
going-
nice little.
going TV.
The Pinball Wizard. That episode. That's a good one.
Wasn't there a year? I think there was a year when I had Are You Afraid of the Dark episodes repeating at the Halloween party.
Well, you should do that again this year because that's
Yeah, if not, it'll be this
Yeah,
year.
it's-
I'll hook that up.
It's a good choice.
Doug will watch it on Zoom.
Yeah. I'll
Yeah.
just sit around watching.
He'll watch
Are You Afraid
TV
of the Dark?
through a screen.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
What's your favorite, or what do you think is the scariest Are You Afraid of the Dark episode?
Fuck that's a loaded ass question.
I think One of the scariest ones was the one with the neighbors that are vampires. That one was
That's what
pretty
I
freaky.
was, I think, trying to think of. I was Googling vampire. Or am I thinking of the one with the... Is that the one with the hospital?
Hospital vampires.
The hospital
Yeah.
vampire
That's
one
the
is
scariest one in my opinion.
That's the
Yeah.
one.
pretty terrifying.
Well, yeah,
The-
that one's scary. Yeah.
There's also a
I-
really creepy one where there's like a dead girl at a house, and when they're in the room, like all writing is on the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That
remember that
is
one.
that's like a gets you goosebumps. That episode.
Oh, also one that freaked me out was it Bozo the Clown? That used to freak the fuck out of me. When
No,
I was,
Bozo the Clown was a jolly man. It was
Zebo the Clown.
Zebo the
the
Clown.
Clown. He smoked the cigars. Oh my god, that freaked me
What
out.
about Zeke the plumber? I know it's a different show, but
Hell yeah, Zeke the plumber. That's
Salute your shorts.
solid Halloween episode.
Yeah, that's a good one though. Zeke the plumber.
you had a couple other TV shows on here, right? And two that you talked about earlier, Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah,
and
I
American
mean,
Horror Stories.
I think
Or Horror
season
Story.
1 American Horror Stories would be a great season to
Yeah.
watch for
Still
Halloween.
got to get around to that show.
It's scary as shit. There's some really fucked up episodes.
Yeah, it's all haunted house, and it's done really well. And haunted house definitely makes me feel the Halloween vibes.
Spooky.
Yeah, it's definitely spooky. Which is why Haunting of Hill House is the other, which we talked about earlier, but is another show that I think does a good job of being spooky and haunted house.
Yeah, that show legitimately disturbed me at times.
Yeah, it's not the happiest show I've ever watched.
Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, once I saw screen caps of all the ghosts in it, I decided it's not for me.
yeah, it's pretty.
Also, once I found out it was scary, it wasn't for
JP
me.
prefers his ghosts
Definitely
on
scary.
ships.
Yeah, Ghost Ship. Solid Halloween movie. Especially when you watch it at a theater that doesn't give a shit about their projection and you see the boom throughout the entire movie.
On Halloween, we saw that.
On Halloween, yeah. And, you know, there's just like a really scary part and you just see this big fuzzy thing hanging from the top of the screen.
Oh, that's...
It takes you out. It really does.
Stranger Things 2 was a good Halloween.
yeah, that was good.
Thing. That's something I could see myself going back to and watching, like in October.
And that was another one that took place during Halloween.
Yeah, exactly. That's why
Mhm.
I referenced that one in particular.
You know what I did? I think it was last night or the night before. I scoured Netflix and I went back and I watched the Halloween episodes of The Office.
Oh, so good.
Because I was just in the mood to watch Halloween episodes of TV shows. They've had some good ones. The one where he has to fire someone on Halloween's pretty good.
Yeah.
The one where
The
Gabe
Halloween
is dressed
party.
up as Lady Gaga, the costume contest.
Yeah.
That's a pretty funny one. Yeah, and unlike the lighter side of Halloween stuff, I guess it's not super light, but Rocky Horror Picture Show is one I put on there because that's one I want to watch every year on.
I didn't know
around
you.
Halloween
I didn't know
time.
you were a Rocky
So
Horror
good.
guy.
It is a weird, fucked up movie.
I love Rocky Horror.
Would you ever go to like a midnight showing of that?
Probably not, because I don't really want to
Oh,
hang
why
out with
not?
some of like the crazy weird people that like this movie. But I definitely enjoy watching it. Maybe because I'd like to spend my nights on Halloween doing Halloween stuff, but maybe around the time I might go see it, but definitely not a Halloween
Yeah,
night
exactly.
Well,
one.
up until COVID, they were doing that at least twice a month in the city.
Yeah, I mean they do it around here. They do it in they would do it over in Montclair
Mm-hmm.
at what's that theater that they were just renovating? I think that was the one that they would do it at.
Bellevue.
Yeah, Bellevue. And I think somewhere around here they had a live action like a play of it because I remember seeing posters for it everywhere. I think it was a year or two ago. Yeah, that's a weird movie.
Definitely weird.
That I can honestly remember coming back in from trick or treating and that being on TV and sort of counting my candies and organizing them while that was on TV. My parents were watching it. So that's one that really, like, as soon as Halloween season starts, I really want to watch that movie. And it's just Tim Curry is remarkable in that, to say the least.
Dr. Frankenfooter. Man.
with stunning performances by Meatloaf.
Yeah. And a very young Susan Sarandon.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Anything else
sure.
for Halloween, guys? Any other recommendations? Anything like that? Favorite candy?
Oh, Reese's all day, every day.
Yeah,
Reese's
that
peanut
was
butter
always
cups.
the
Or nothing.
winner.
The Reese's pumpkins, to be exact,
Yeah.
for me. They're the best.
It's a lot more peanut butter. It's a
Yep.
good time.
Mm-hmm.
What candy would get you most pissed off when you'd receive it?
Almond Joy.
Mike and Ike.
Ooh, Mike and Ike is pretty bad.
I
Yeah.
love Mike and Ike.
Fucking black licorice is the worst thing on earth.
No, not
Ugh.
the. I'm thinking of the fruit flavored ones.
Or maybe good and
I
plenty
think it
is
was
the
Good and
one.
Plenty, yeah.
Good and Plenty's
Mike
weak.
and Ike are fruit flavored. I like those.
Yeah, good and plenty was the licorice one. Yeah, that can burn in hell. That, and there was one other one that I was actually talking about the other day that was actual garbage. I forget what it was though. I mean, getting like a Three Musketeers is kind of a slap in the face. I'd rather just get a chocolate
I was
bar.
never happy with that when I was a kid.
Yeah, give me like a Hershey's chocolate bar. Don't give me some fluffy garbage.
I went through a Three Musketeers phase where I liked them.
Oh, yeah?
But
I like them, but they are
they've kind
disappointing.
of gone downhill. I mean, if someone could like throw together some candy corn and throw it in my bag, I'd be kind of pissed off because I felt like you kind of.
Oh, I love candy corn.
Oh, I think candy corn is trash.
No,
it's pretty
so
trash.
Yeah, not a fan.
But also, like, I don't know. You really
What
went
about,
out
like,
and you bought
pennies?
candy corn to hand out to kids? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah. What do you think about pennies? I was thinking about this the other day. If you get like a sizable trick-or-treating volume, you're maybe spending about, you give 5 to 10 pennies each. You're only spending about $7 total. It kind of sucked to get pennies.
I don't think I ever got a penny.
You never got
I would
pennies?
get
Yeah,
change.
I'm pretty sure I'd get change. Yeah, when we were kids.
What are wrong?
You're like
what's
a
wrong
toll
with
booth,
people?
like-
Like pennies? Are you kidding me?
You ring the doorbell and they chuck change at you like a toll
Those
booth.
fucking old people. They don't give a fuck.
I remember getting change in like a little like Halloween baggie. Like I'd open it up looking for candy, and then there's like 35 cents in there. Like wow,
Oh,
this is
yeah.
great.
Oh, I'm doing bags this year.
Big-
I've
big
decided that I'm not
spender.
giving out candy. I'm gonna do little bags and I'm just gonna put them out there for the kids to take. I'll put some fucking antibacterial to put on your hands if you want.
But no candy.
No, bags of candy.
Oh,
So
I
like
thought-
sealed individual candies in a bag. So it's like super. If they want to spray it down with fucking Lysol before they give it to their kids.
I thought it was just going to be antibacterial. So
no,
like no
fuck
candy.
that.
Dude, I'm gonna have
No, that's. I'll put a little antibacterial out there to wash their hands if they want.
I'm gonna have like
Yeah.
my bedroom window open. I'll be like, yell up to me when you want some. I'll just throw candy down to them.
Dude, go out and buy a PVC pipe. I've seen people do this. They're gonna zip tie it to their banister, and so when you open the door, they can stand down at the bottom of the stairs, and you just put it in the little pipe, and it's like a chute. They can put their bags out in front of it.
How would you
cool.
open the door? Or they would open the door.
They ring the doorbell and then back up, or they don't ring the doorbell. I'm just putting I'm putting a bowl out, and I'm carriage bolting it to something very heavy, so no one can flip it over or run away with it.
There you go.
Oh, I'm prepared. Kids are gonna get candy this year, and they're not gonna get fucking Good and Plenties, and they're not gonna get candy.
You're gonna
corn.
show these motherfuckers some respect and give them good candy.
I'm gonna fill a real pumpkin with Reese's peanut butter, and I'm gonna coat it in chocolate, and I'm gonna give it to them. Just reach in, kids. Grab the Reese's peanut butter and eat it.
All right, that's enough for Halloween.
It's never enough for Halloween.
Halloween is over.
How dare
we'll
you?
see it next year. Let's move on though to our yearly film series and get right into 1991. Kind of steamroll through this decade. So, Corey, you've got I believe it's a Jackie Chan film.
No, it's not.
What is Samurai Cop?
Oh my god. Okay, so
It's actually starring Mel Gibson.
Samurai Cop-
What?
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's not a Jackie Chan movie, and it's not starring Mel Gibson.
Is it Chow Yun Fat movie?
No, no one is in it. Literally, not one person. So this movie is horrifying in its own realm, like its own way. So this movie I saw probably 2 years ago for the first time. It is very much in a similar type of camp as The Room. It is fucking horrible. Horrible. And the director was definitely, he knew the kind of movie that he was making, but it was very meta for the time. But it's basically Lethal Weapon. It's Lethal Weapon. It has, two cops. They're detectives. They work together. They're conflicting personalities, and they're being, goofy, trying to take down, like the thugs of LA. But the way that they do it, the acting is horrendous, like beyond bad. And the script is written in such a way, like, you're like, humans don't talk like this. They don't talk like this. And it's just really like a big train wreck. But if you like really, really laughably funny, terrible movies, I definitely recommend watching it. And especially with the Drake, you'll get a lot of laughs out of it. It's hilarious.
They made a sequel, and Tommy Wiseau's in it.
Yep, they did. I watched it. It's awful. Even more awful than this. This actually has redeeming qualities for being how funny it was. That movie was not good. But yeah, Tommy Wiseau's in it.
Interesting. Doug, were you aware of this film?
No, not at all.
It is.
Never heard of it before until today.
All right. Well, Corey, I hope for next week when we do 1992, you do Super Cop with Jackie Chan.
Meet the cop that can't be stopped.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm not telling you guys. The 90s, it's going to be all over the place. You're not going to be able to even choose what Corey picks each year, because this is going to be. I'm going to pick the most obscure movies.
The main character in this movie looks like a weird amalgamation of Tommy Wiseau, Greg Sestero,
yeah,
and fucking Alice Cooper. He's a weird looking guy. Like maybe a little bit of Jared Leto in there sometimes, but he is a weird looking dude.
Thank Reddit for bringing this movie to my attention.
I'm not going to do that.
It's outstanding in all the ways that you would not expect. The music is also like unbelievable. It's amazing. Not starring Jackie Chan, as you guys originally thought.
That was only me.
You thought it was the cop that can't be stopped.
Take the credit. I did. I thought if he could be a super cop, he could be a samurai cop too. It would fall in line with the types of movies Corey likes. But I was wrong.
Super Cop is actually a good movie.
Well, maybe next week. Doug, what about yourself?
So I just want to give a quick shout out to the best movie of 92 or 91, Terminator 2 Judgment Day.
Yeah,
they all went downhill from there, but
it's not Super Cop or Samurai Cop. God damn it!
I don't think it's Samurai Cop, but Terminator 2 is awesome.
It is.
Check it out. But it's not my pick.
Oh, no.
For all those who haven't seen Terminator 2, check it out.
It's great. It holds up. Really well done. Tip my hat to you, James Cameron. My pick is Rufio, Bangarang,
Yes.
Hook.
There's some division.
Wait a minute.
In this
wait
pick.
a minute. Who does not like Hook? How could you not like Hook?
How do you not know that Murph hates Hook?
So Murph hates Hook.
I never knew this.
I completely disagree
We've
with.
talked about it plenty of times.
He fucking hates
I
this.
guess
Murphy.
I've just blocked it out each time, maybe.
So let's just get into the good about Hook before Murph tries to just tear it down. Robin Williams does
incredible.
An amazing performance as, I mean, the first part where he's Peter Panning, the lawyer, kind of sucks, like, because Robin Williams has to like just be shitty and boring the entire time. But as soon as he gets to Neverland and he becomes Pan the man, remembers that he's
so stupid. I hate this movie.
Remember that he's Peter Pan.
Pan the man. Please tell me that's not an actual line.
Can we?
Yeah,
can we
it's
talk,
definitely a line.
No, it is.
Can we talk about?
JP, do you like this movie?
I'm on the fence. I liked it when I was a kid. The more and more I think about it, it
It's
seems
so
kinda
good.
stupid.
Yeah, I liked it for like a fucking week, like when it came out.
I remember seeing it.
Yeah,
in
so do
theaters,
I.
yeah.
guess I tolerated it then, but
and it was great.
I tolerated enough
It's-
to buy the VHS. But then I guess I hated it immediately after that.
Dustin
I'm not a
Hoffman-
Pan sympathizer. I'm not like a Pan hype boy.
Yeah, so
Hook hype boy like these guys.
it's a great movie. It's one of the better Pan stories told. And I don't know if that says a lot, but I don't really care for the original Peter Pan story, but I think this one's fun.
What? The Disney one?
I don't know which one it is. I just
The animated one?
no. I'm thinking of the live action Peter Pan.
Okay.
Um,
Because the animated one's great.
but it's Robin Williams is. If you could pick an actor to play somebody that's going to be an eternal kid, I mean, Robin Williams is.
And then
Is
they
the
have
guy.
him not be an eternal kid for like half the movie. What the fuck?
Yep.
Yeah, that's the worst part. You're just it's so you really appreciate when he becomes the kid again.
The first 5 times I watched this movie, I thought they got the wrong fucking guy and they just brainwashed him into thinking he was Peter Pan. It took me a while as a
Yeah.
kid to realize he was actually Peter Pan.
They're like, no,
And they didn't just brainwash this
Yeah.
businessman guy.
no, you're Peter. You've always been Peter Pan.
Yeah. No, I'm not. No, you are, though.
Isn't he like kidnapped essentially? Like, isn't he like falling? Like his he's in his
So
fucking
the
like
plot of
stroller
the story-
rolling down a hill, and
The story goes,
Gwyneth Paltrow's the mom.
Captain Hook comes and takes his kids to Neverland, and there's Tinkerbell comes in.
That's perverted.
Tinkerbell
Who's
comes
Tinkerbell
to
in this
find
movie?
Peter and bring Peter back to Neverland so that Peter can remember that he's Peter Pan and save his kids. It's fun. It's a fun movie. The beginning is kind of boring because it's really the worst of Robin Williams because he can't be Robin Williams for that first half. But once he remembers he's Peter and he starts flying around, and Dustin Hoffman gives a super hammy performance as Captain Hook. It's just
So good.
those two facing off. There's some plot lines that I don't really think work. Julia Roberts does an okay job as Tinkerbell, but like she gets big at one point in the movie.
Yeah, doesn't she try to like make out with?
She
Peter
tries to
Pan?
make up with Robin
God,
Williams.
the movie's
I
stupid.
Well, yeah,
don't really
Tinkerbell.
understand how that fits into the movie at all. It's just kind of weird. The Run Home Jack stuff, where like Jack.
Oh
has
yeah,
second
they're like
thoughts.
playing baseball and stuff. This movie's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
the baseball part is a little weird.
They
and
have
then
food fights. Fucking
the food fights
With
are
imaginary
fun.
food.
The imaginary food fights, great,
Oh, it's
right? That's where
it's 90.
They eat like fucking
90s
Play-Doh.
trash.
it's so good.
Rufio's
the food
not
fight-
cool. Like, I never
Yo,
understood
you-
that whole thing.
You know who's in this movie?
Who?
Evil Dachshund.
Oh,
Not the recast
not
Dachshund.
good.
The one that's in prison.
Oh, that's really
Who
not
did-
good. It's a
who did
movie
he
full
play?
of
Was he a
kids.
pirate?
I don't know. He's Ron.
Dude,
The
it's-
boo box is pretty horrifying.
The kid from The Witches is in this movie.
This is unquestionably one of Steven Spielberg's worst films of his entire career.
I disagree.
It's kind of a piece of shit.
I mean, no, it's not.
The more I remember about this movie, it's kind of a piece
The
of shit.
Boo
It's-
Box, like, come on, get the fuck out of here.
It's pretty. I think it's a good movie. It's not like geared towards adults. It's geared towards kids, and kids enjoyed it.
I mean, yes, a lot of kids did enjoy this film, so I don't know, it just didn't work for me.
I really think
Doesn't Captain Hook try and adopt like Peter Pan's
Yeah, he
children?
basically wants them to be his kids.
it's because he's trying to
There's
like
so many kids. Just steal the other ones. It's legitimately a land filled with children.
he doesn't
Just steal the other.
he doesn't
kids.
actually want the kids. He's trying to like hurt Peter Pan.
Well, that's stupid because
Oh.
then Peter Pan fucking wins.
Is it really Peter Pan though, or is it someone they just brainwashed into thinking he was
It's just
Peter
some
Pan?
fucking lawyer guy or doctor, whatever he
Save
is.
Peter Pan.
I mean, the cast is
It's got to get
pretty
cast.
great.
Probably got good music. I don't remember, but it is John Williams.
The music's fantastic.
I don't know.
I love the music in that movie.
I'm just glad it was such a disappointment that he ended up doing Jurassic Park afterwards and completely rebounding his career.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jurassic Park was really good. It was a great follow up to his really great movie Hook before Jurassic Park. Hook's a good movie. I don't care what you say, Murph.
I love
I
Hook.
still enjoy it.
When was the last time you
I still-
watched it?
It's been a
Within
couple of years, but it hasn't been like since I was a little kid.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I don't know. How do you not get chills when Dustin Hoffman's
Couldn't even say that with a straight face.
Dustin Hoffman's Hook is standing on like the pirate ship deck, and then the outline of Peter Pan just kind of falls from the. He cuts out the outline of himself into the ship mast, and it falls down.
Doug, that's not a good. You could have thought of something way better.
And Robin Williams comes into the cutout silhouette.
How can you not get chills when Skrillex's Bangarang starts playing?
Dude, Peter Pan's just strange. Anytime he's portrayed on like film, like
Creepy.
why is it always a fucking girl in like most adaptations?
Because it's supposed to be a boy,
it's-
like a
Yes,
kid.
why don't fucking hire a kid?
Oh, because little boys suck, I guess.
And then they've got old ass Robin Williams.
Well,
Like,
no, because it's never a young woman. It's always like
it's like a 20
an older woman playing, a
or
boy.
like a 30 something year old woman playing a boy. Like fucking
Who is
the girl from Get Out was in that like most recent adaptation.
the one that played the? Now I remember the old one that you're talking about, though, Doug, the live action one.
Yeah, I don't remember much about it other than
I used to have to watch that all the time because my sister wanted to watch it.
it wasn't as good as Hook.
It was
Definitely not as good as Hook.
Julie no.
It was Julie something. I'm pretty sure.
Julie Andrews.
Julie.
Sybil Richard.
No, it was Julie Andrews. In '76, she played Peter
okay.
Pan.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one I always had to watch, except for the cartoon.
Boo this,
Better than Hook.
just everything about it.
Hook, great movie.
Well, thank you for letting us have this debate.
Murph's gonna get attacked by the Hook fans of the internet. No.
Gonna get a lot of bangerangs.
Get some bangerangs in the chat. Bangerang in the comments right now. If you like Hook, bangerang in the comments. If you don't, say Hook's a piece of shit.
I'll never get it. It's one of these movies from like childhood that I just don't understand why people like.
It's divisive. There are people that absolutely
know.
love this movie,
I
like
know.
Corey and Doug.
No, yeah, I didn't even think it was divisive until like
I think Murph's the only person, honestly,
Drop
that
them
I've
out.
ever met that flat out fucking hates this movie.
yeah, Murph's. I'm pretty sure Murph's on an island. I'm sure there's other people out there, but they're not. I haven't ran into them before.
Well,
Or they're closet. They're closet Hook haters.
these other people don't have to have friends that talk about it like it's like this masterpiece. It's got a 29 on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm not alone.
You guys made Murph this way.
All right.
Just like those kids brainwashed Robin Williams into being Peter Pan, you brainwashed Murph into hating this movie.
Oh shit! All right, JP, go on to your movie.
All right, you know what? Just when you guys thought Halloween was over, right? You ended Halloween, cue the spooky music. Because we got Ernest Scared Stupid in '91, which is one of my favorite Halloween movies. I love this movie. This movie was Hubie Halloween before Hubie Halloween was Hubie Halloween. And I feel like they just tried to rip this movie off because it's Ernest. It's this over-the-top, stupid character that's so beloved by everyone. And,
so good.
and he's fantastic. Fighting a troll on Halloween. Oh, this movie gave me nightmares when I was a child because this is why I don't watch scary movies. Because if I watch something like The Conjuring, I'd never sleep again because Ernest Scared Stupid gave me nightmares. I was afraid of trolls. It's just a typical Ernest movie. It's got all the players in it, all the weird casts of actors and actresses that end up. He cross-dresses. It hits all the marks of a good Ernest movie. And I believe it is the best Ernest movie because there's a troll in it. And kids use super soakers to shoot milk at the trolls and kill them. Spoiler alert. It's awesome. I wanted to put milk
Are
in
they
the super
like
soaker
official
when I was a
super
kid.
soakers?
I think they were, honestly.
Must have been like
They had
right
all
after
these-
they came out.
Yeah, they had all these cool gadgets. They had an awesome treehouse. Such a good Halloween movie. Gets me in the spirit. I can't wait to watch this this year. This is one of those movies that I watch every year on Halloween. I believe it's on Netflix. I gotta make sure because I gotta get it. But man, I love Ernest Scared Stupid. It's the Hubie Halloween before its time, and it kind of hits note for note with actually the same sort of thing because it's just Ernest on Halloween. People start disappearing. He finds out it's a troll, and he combats the troll. It's more well.
It's a well-oiled machine.
It's a well-oiled machine.
Maybe Adam Sandler was, this was his inspiration. Was Ernest
Honestly, if when I was watching it, I believe I said this in the text chat. It's like an even more ridiculous Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yeah,
It's like Adam Sandler's love letter to Ernest Scared Stupid. I love this movie.
Is it on Disney Plus?
Dude, I think it's on Netflix. Honestly,
I'm not sure who made it.
I thought it was Disney.
I can watch it now for $2.99. I don't know what the fuck it's on.
Well, while you look that up, I'll move on to my Disney film, and it is The Rocketeer. So, for those who aren't familiar, it's takes place back in like the 20s, and what is it, 20s or 30s? But it's dealing with
it's the 30s, I think.
We're only just getting used to people flying and things like that, and this I don't know, somebody who works on like an airstrip comes across this jetpack that makes a dude fly, ends up becoming like a superhero of his own type. It's directed by the guy who did Captain America, the first one, and there's definitely there's similarities to the fact. I mean, they both take place around like World War II. Like the bad guy in this movie is an actor who's really a undercover secret Nazi, played by Timothy Dalton. So it's got those similarities, but it's more down to earth than Captain America. I personally prefer it to the first Captain America movie. It's got some great performance. It's got a lot of character actors that would you'd see later on, like John Locke from Lost plays Howard Hughes. Margot Martindale from Justified and a bunch of other stuff. She's a character actress. She's in it. Jennifer Connelly's the love interest. But yeah, it's just it's a fun action movie. I think it was the first PG rated, might have been the first live action movie I ever saw in theaters. So I was probably like 5 years old at the time, or 4 years old at the time. So yeah, I have nostalgia for it. The bad guy was super creepy. The one that wasn't, well, I guess he was a Nazi also, but he was like a deformed dude. I don't know if you guys remember.
Oh yeah, I do. This is an awesome movie. It's such a cool pulp film. It has such a good feel to it.
Yeah, I mean, I just like when Disney made those like live action movies, and not just kind of pushing those movies out to their other studios. So I think they did a good job, and it wasn't like a kiddie movie, despite the fact that it was rated PG. It had some balls to it.
Yeah, he kicks Timothy Dalton off the Zeppelin at the end, or the Zeppelin explodes at the end, or something like that.
Zeppelin explodes.
Yeah,
yeah. There's fucking murder and shit, like gunfights. It's exciting. It's fun.
You know what it feels like? It feels like The Shadow almost.
Yeah, it was in. So it was one of those.
But they did it right.
Yeah, it was one of those pulp early '90s films, like The Phantom, The Shadow.
This was the one that they got right.
Yeah,
Dick Tracy.
Yep. It was all in the aftermath of Batman. But instead of going with like superheroes, they're like, oh, well, people like the fact that they were these old timey superheroes and like these Art Deco like type of
newspaper comics.
Yeah, exactly. Another fucking 10 years, I realized it was the superhero aspect that was what was popular. But I thought this was the best one to come out in the post Batman era of those types of films.
100%. Yeah. It's a cool idea. It's someone without superpowers just finds a jetpack, learns how to fly with it, and apparently having a jetpack in the 1930s, makes you the guy.
Yeah.
Um,
And they had the that big Bulldog Cafe. They had it in the back lot at MGM, so that was cool. Anytime you'd go there, you'd get to see
oh yeah,
where it was filmed.
yeah. I wasn't allowed to go to MGM.
You missed out, bro.
Yeah, one bad experience my dad had, I guess, and we were banned from going to MGM ever again. I think I went once as a child.
I'd really love to know what that experience was.
Maybe I'll ask him one day. Be like, why the hell did you never take us to MGM? I think we went to the Animal Kingdom once, and then you go to fucking MGM. And this was before Animal Kingdom had rides.
Oh god, that park was sucked at the beginning.
Yeah,
It was just a zoo.
yeah. It was a shitty zoo.
Yeah.
And now it's got Pandora, and it's Doug's favorite.
Pandora's great.
The Sasquatch Mountain ride's good.
Yeah, Everest.
Yeah,
It's a good one.
Everest is good.
I know you only shouted out James
Sasquatch
Cameron earlier because of your love for Avatar.
Yeah, I just had to get it in somehow. Just real quick, I guess on the Rocketeer, I don't like this movie. Yeah, I just think it's...
Is it only because Murph doesn't like Actually, I think this movie's a huge piece of shit.
This movie's garbage. No, I think it's a pretty boring movie. I don't think any of the acting is particularly memorable. I think the plot's not interesting. Like
the takedown.
I just don't think it's a
I
good
think
movie.
there were better movies this year.
I think similar to the first Captain America, it's just boring. Like, I mean, you tried to sell the action, but to me, there's not a lot of great action in this movie. It's just
They have
boring.
like Errol
It's just kind of like
Flynn
a
sword
snooze
fights.
fest. Yeah, they're not good. It's not. I don't know. It's not action that I ever find myself wanting to go back and revisit. I always
It's
think
on
the
Disney.
Rocketeer
I
is
think
kind
it's
of
on
a,
Disney Plus. Check it out. And
I think it's kind of a snooze fest.
How dare you say that there is not a good acting performance in a movie that has Timothy Dalton in it? How fucking dare you?
shame.
It's probably one of his least memorable performances.
Probably.
You're crazy, man.
But you're wrong.
Hook's
so
pretty awesome.
Rocketeer's trash, but
And
Hook is.
it's got Jan Levinson Gould. She's in it too.
Does it really?
Yeah, she's a singer in it.
Is the Gould? Does she have the Gould in this
the
movie?
Gould, the
Or is
Gould's
she
gone.
without- The Gould's gone.
But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for something a little more exciting, not something to fall asleep to at night, Hook is the movie.
Oh, and it's got Alan Arkin too. He's great. Oh, what a cast. We'll put up a
great
poll this week. What do you prefer?
But does the Rocketeer have Maggie Smith? No. Maggie Smith.
And the makeup,
Thanks for tuning into the actual feature presentation, which is Rocketeer versus Hook, Battle of the Heavyweights of 1991.
All right, let's see.
and the makeup
Bang.
was so good for Maggie Smith that they predicted what she was going to look like as she got
This is true.
older.
Yeah.
Well, she was old when she was young.
Yeah. I feel like she hasn't aged. She's just been old.
All right, look. Here's how it's gonna go down. Hook,
Hook is better.
29 on Rotten Tomatoes. The Rocketeer, motherfucking fresh. It's got a 65.
Ooh.
Are you looking at the people though, or are you looking at these
I'm looking at the critics.
fat cat critics?
Looking at the fat cat critics.
Suddenly, Doug's a man of the people.
It's like, all right.
Doug's running around Russia screaming about the proletariat. I'm a man of the people. I need you to believe in Hook.
Yeah, I don't.
It's like another poll. It's like, who would win in a fight? Peter Pan, Robin Williams, Peter Pan, or the fucking Rocketeer?
Yeah, I mean, all right. The Hook wins with the audience, but the difference isn't as vast as critics. It's 65. So wow, consensus is tied. That's a rare thing between the audience and the critics with the Rocketeer.
Ooh.
65-65, and Hook is 29-76.
The people have
Sounds like a
spoken.
lot of
Yeah, the
nostalgia
people-
pumping
the
up those
popular
Hook
vote.
numbers.
Well, the electoral
That's
college is
actually
ultimately
crazy.
what matters.
The Rocketeer has the exact same percentage. That's crazy, dude.
Right?
Uh,
That's rare.
Yeah, it's a great D.
Hook has Dustin Hoffman. in the best.
Sorry, bro.
I'm talking about a D, man.
The best Captain Hook performance of our time.
Here's the critic consensus for both. Rocketeer, an action-packed, if anachronistic, look back at pulp matinee serials. The Rocketeer may ring hollow with viewers expecting more than simple fun and gee-whiz special effects.
Was that a Roger Ebert review?
Doug, I think they just called you an asshole.
And then Hook says, the look of Hook is lively indeed, but Steven Spielberg directs on autopilot here, giving in too quickly to his sentimental syrupy qualities.
That wasn't even that bad.
Yeah, that wasn't even bad at all.
They basically just said it's bad Spielberg.
I mean, Spielberg he's done better movies, but that doesn't mean this movie's bad. It's great.
No, but like it literally does because it's got a 29. Fucking Hubie Halloween has like a 50.
Right now, not maybe in 2 weeks.
But
Probably
the audience score is higher. We've agreed that the people prefer Hook.
The people. Fuck.
The people.
Way more people have seen Hook. It's got like 3 times as many reviews.
Sure. That's 100% a nostalgia pump up in
Without a doubt.
in percentage there.
Without a doubt. I mean,
I disagree.
the amount of Sandler movies that rate higher, there's probably so many.
But I look forward to seeing how the people vote in the poll.
The people.
Yeah, I think
It'll be me
The
just fucking
people.
making dummy accounts. Rocketeer.
Murph's gonna make a Steven Spielberg account and say, I made this movie and I fucking hate it.
This was the worst movie I ever made.
it's like
I wish I could have made The Rocketeer this year instead of that piece of shit Hook.
It's like the official Steven Spielberg Twitter.
See, that's why he gave Jurassic Park 3. He passed the baton over to the director of The
That movie
Rocketeer.
sucks.
Yeah,
Jurassic Park 3
Jurassic Park
sucks.
did suck.
I think it probably has a higher rating than Hook.
That doesn't mean it's better.
It literally does, because
No, it doesn't.
that's
You
where
gotta,
yeah.
you gotta go by the audience score. How's
Yeah.
the audience score for Jurassic Park?
Jurassic Park 3 has a 49 on Rotten Tomatoes, so it wins.
That is.
It has the famous Allen scene.
Its audience score is very bad. 36.
I'm sure Fallen Kingdom has a higher review too, and that movie sucks.
No, there's no fucking way that's even possible.
Fallen Kingdom. It's higher. It's got 47.
That's,
47, Jesus.
so now it's irrelevant. Rotten Tomatoes is irrelevant.
No, it's just saying Hook's irrelevant.
No, the critics.
It's proving itself correct. Fallen Kingdom is a bad
No, the
movie,
critics-
and so is Hook.
The critics were hard on it because it was Spielberg, and they're holding it to like a Spielberg. They're like comparing it to E.T. They wanted another E.T. and
yeah,
that's
at the time, yeah, more or less, I guess.
that's the
Wait,
problem with
what?
that.
Dude, I'm pretty
But
sure.
the audience loved it.
I'm pretty sure it's got like new reviews too. Like people are.
Oh, most of the ones are like a bunch of like Zoomers, like, oh, this movie's great, or like millennials being like, I remember this as a kid.
when Peter Pan finally learns, and it clicks and he gets his full powers, like that's like an amazing part. It's fucking
Isn't that
awesome.
like the last 15 minutes of the movie?
Probably
No,
half
there's
hour.
more than that.
Great.
It's during the
Yeah,
food
He
fight.
has to
is when
remember. He has to remember everything, and it's
So what you're saying is it's its own movie, but it's fucking Men in Black 2.
Yeah,
So we don't even get Men in Black 1. They just give us
they
Men in
just go
Black
straight to
2,
the sequel.
where Tommy Lee Jones has to remember his whole life.
I never had anything against the first like 30 minutes of that movie. I liked how like Peter Pan forgot who he was.
You know what I'd like to forget ever seeing that
It was-
fucking movie?
it's not true.
It's a Murph. I think you need to rewatch it.
Yeah.
And
I think if you look back in your life, you'll realize that it shaped your life.
I'm
more
pretty
than
sure
you realize.
pretty sure I had my parents throw away the VHS.
no, I don't think so because I remember seeing it in the basement.
All right,
like,
well, go to the basement
for
now.
years
I'm pretty
after
sure
that.
it's not there.
right now, it's not. I'm sure.
That's
Now
what I'm
it's not there
saying.
anymore.
If it's still there, Murph's gonna go. Next time he's over there, he's just gonna burn it.
And I will film it and we'll put it on the gram.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, this ended up turning into a
Shit show.
yeah. This was our feature presentation.
Hook, Turned into Hook versus Rocketeer.
This is all right. I have an idea for a segment. We'll talk about it after this. But yeah, let's just wrap things up because we are off the rails.
Does it have to do with like going into a pit with weapons and fighting out your movie? Yeah.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Let's go. I'm arming myself.
All right. That's all we got for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, as always, for listening. Please like, follow, subscribe to our various pages and all of that good stuff. We really appreciate it. But as always, this has been Corey Doug, JP and Murph at Live Breathe Film. We'll be back next week, and we hope you are too. Huck sucks. Bye.
Bangarang!